All right, we are live. What's up, everybody? Welcome to another session of the Masculine Mind Podcast, where we focus on male improvement, masculinity, and purpose. We have a great panel of men tonight. Hope you guys ready. We have a great topic to discuss. Get your popcorn ready. Let's get it.
What are we arguing about?
A man is gonna do what a man wants to do.
All on your wrist. Make you my wife, you no longer my bitch.
Let's get it. My name is Will. I'm the host of this show, the number one Polynesian podcast in the world.
Dripping in Versace. All these other hoes trying to copy.
Women tend to bounce around in relationships. They can't stick and stay in a long-term relationship.
Again, don't agree with this. Just
So let's say, are you still in it? Are you still in it?
no. So you're basically saying I'm a whore.
This content is not suitable for the children under the age of 18 without adult supervision. Please be advised.
So I just wanted to take the time and make this video to apologize to absolutely nobody.
Love all the freaky things you do. My love was way overdue. That's when you came out the blue.
We are live. What's up, everybody? All right, my sound effect's not working. Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to another session of the Golf Club Podcast. My name is Will. I'm the host of this live show, number one Polynesian podcast in the world. Thank you so much for tuning in. We have a great show for you guys. So if you're tuning in for the very first time, always appreciate you guys for tuning in. And of course, all my subscribers out there, people subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much. We have a great show and great topic to discuss tonight. I see you, BL17, already in the live chat, getting in early, popping on the live chat. Hope you're having a blast today. Hey, shout out to you, BL17. Always appreciate you being on the live chat. And I see MC Carol, as always be the first one on here. Popcorn ready. Hello, everyone. My husband and I are ready. Hey, shout out to you and your husband. Always thank you guys for always being on the live chat and watching the show. Don't forget, this is a public show. We do have a live chat, so I always appreciate you guys. Let me know what you guys think, your opinions, your feedback, whether you agree or disagree. I will definitely have a good topic to discuss and a variety of different topics related to tonight's topic. I would love to hear what you guys have to say. Don't forget, this is a public show. A lot of you guys reach out. You want to join and be part of the podcast. I will post the public link on the YouTube live chat. So if you're watching this on Twitch or Facebook, come to YouTube. I'll pin it to the top of the screen. Click on that link, and you'll be able to jump on and be part of the podcast. Whether you agree or disagree, I know a lot of people agree with my views. I do know there's a lot of people who disagree, a lot of haters out there. Whether you agree or disagree, I invite you to come on into open discussion, open forum podcast. I would love to hear from opposing views and have an open discussion, all right? Don't forget the super chat donations. I appreciate you guys always supporting me financially with your pockets. Thank you so much for every single donation. It goes back and reinvested back to my podcast to launch my podcast studio going into 2023. Appreciate you guys. So if you have a specific question or topic that you guys want us to discuss on the live panel, ask it through a super chat donation. And I'll definitely reciprocate your donation and make sure we prioritize your questions and your topic, and we'll definitely respond to you live on the podcast. Don't forget, we do have a Discord. We do have a Discord chat group for the Golf Club Podcast. So if you guys want to contact us directly, or if you want to continue these conversations offline, definitely join our Discord. I'll definitely post it on the YouTube live chat, and you guys can join us and be part of the conversation, part of the panel, and you'll be able to have an opportunity to have one-on-one conversations with anybody on this panel. So let's build that community. I know a lot of you guys have a question, talk to us. That's the best way to reach out to us is on the Discord, Golf Club Podcast, Discord chat group. All right. But nevertheless, that's pretty much all my YouTube stuff. Let's get right into it, fellas. We have a great topic to discuss tonight. Let's go ahead and give ourselves a quick intro for everybody that's watching this for the first time. They may not know who we are. I'll start with you, Ness. You're jumping on and be part of tonight's Masculine Mind Podcast. Ness, go ahead and give yourself a quick intro for everybody out there.
What's up, everybody? My name is Ness, coming from Nevada. I'm excited to join this panel of young men to discuss a lot of things that could possibly help out our young men that are currently listening, and hopefully this will go into next generations, moving forward, and it'll shed some light on some things that us as men need to learn to become men. So I'm excited.
All right, no words, Ness. I appreciate it. I see you already have a supporter on the live chat, Joe Latu. He said on the live chat, Malia Reno. All right, thank you so much, Joe Latu. Good to see you back on the live chat. I haven't seen you in a while, Joe. Good to see you on the live chat. Let me pass it to you. Balafessa, go ahead and give yourself a quick intro.
Malorere. And look, these are one of the topics that really get me sort of going. So it's always interesting with the masculine mind that we bring a lot of the things that men in particular are going through in terms of struggles. And yeah, look, about me, I'm just someone who tries to bring my experience into the podcast, and not only that, draw a lot of my, I guess, opinions from a lot of other men that I get to somewhat unofficially mentor through construction. Always a pleasure to be on. Well, again, thank you, and I can't wait to get into this topic.
All right, no worries. I'm fired up as well, Balafessa. All right, nevertheless, let me pass it. Last but not least, J Prime. J Prime, every single time I say your name in the intro, you should play that sound effect. But anyways, go ahead and give yourself a quick intro for everybody out there.
Which one? Oh, that one?
No, not that one. No, the drums. The drum. There you go, that one, the drums.
Anyways, I go by J Prime, given to me by the comment section. Other than that, my name is Joe Promasio. I run a marketing and design agency that produces marketing materials for anybody who's launching a company, as far as anything in between, from starting from logo to launching a website and figuring out strategies around that. I think we have a really good topic to talk about today. As usual, thank you once again, Will, for the opportunity of being here. And yeah.
All right, J Prime, always a pleasure. Always a pleasure to have you on the podcast. And I see PO 17 sitting on the live chat. No, not that one. He said, in the word of Joe, don't forget to execute the like button. All right, no worries. Thank you so much, PO 17. You already know we execute on this podcast. But nevertheless, that's pretty much. Thank you for the intro, fellas. Let's get right into the topic. Does a man need money to attract a good woman? I saw this video on TikTok. This girl, she has a big following. She made a video of why women are attracted to men with money. So let me just play this video real quick. She had a very interesting perspective, coming from the female perspective. I'll play the video real quick and just give everybody some context, and then we'll go right into it to open up the conversation and dive into the topic. So let me play the video real quick, and of course, everybody, as you're reacting to the video, let me know what your thoughts are. Let me know if you're watching this right now on the live chat. Let me know what your initial thoughts on this discussion. What do you guys think on the discussion? And as you're reacting to the video, I would love to hear what you guys think on it. And then definitely, of course, you guys get to hear from the panel what we think right after the live video. So let me play the video real quick.
Isn't because of the free dinners or free holidays that she can get, but it's because a successful man has a completely different mindset than a guy who's broke. Let me explain. This is the psychologist's explanation of human behavior. It's called the Maslow's hierarchy of needs, and it shows that your personal motivation is determined in this order. So if a man is broke, if he is struggling to even pay his rent and his bills, and if he's not even in a stable job, there is no way he can prioritize love and being a good boyfriend. See, as a woman who really values personal growth and entrepreneurship, I want my man to have the same qualities. But it's really attractive to me when a man works hard and he's a hustler and he's on a mission. And those men happen to have more money. So the real reason women want to date a financially successful guy isn't because she can't make her own money. It's 2022. It's because she's attracted to the underlying traits that those financially successful guys have.
All right, no worries. Okay. All right, so yeah, that was a video I saw. She had a very interesting perspective. Always good to hear what the females think. Let me pass it to the fellas. Let me know what the fellas think on this podcast, on the masculine mind. Fellas, you guys know, does a man need money to attract a good woman? Let me start with you, Ness. Ness, what do you think? Let's open up the conversation. What's your initial thoughts on tonight's topic? Go ahead, Ness.
Yeah, man, I think it's important. I do agree. I do agree that in order to attract a good woman, you do need to have some sort of income, like or money. The reason why I say that is because the young lady had said it at the towards the end of her clip was that it doesn't necessarily have to be about the money, but it's about the hustle, right? As a man, there's a certain stigma to the hustle that us as men run through that women could possibly be attracted to. So I think that it is, yeah. So my answer is that I do think that it's very important that in order for you to attract a good woman, that you have to have some sort of money, but not because of the money or the value itself, but because of the hard work that comes behind it that us men have to go through to get that money. That we can attract these specific good women, not these fast women that be out here just to try to get a bag out of us, but a legit, true, traditional woman.
All right, no worries. All right, thank you so much, Finesse. Let me pass it to you, Balafessa. Balafessa, what do you think? What's your initial thoughts? Open up the conversation. Go ahead, Balafessa.
Yeah, I think it helps, but I think what's more important is ambition. Drawing from my own experience, ambition for me brings a certain aura to a man. And I think what women find intoxicating about men is that if you have a direction and you know where you're going to be almost 98% of the time, it gives a lot of women the idea that regardless of where this man is, whether he is at 0 or 100, he knows where he's going, he's confident in the direction of his life, and money will be a byproduct of that. There are men who have the money and still yet unable to select or treat women in a certain way that they want to be treated. So it's more half and half. Ambition is, I think, is much more important than money. However, money is a byproduct of ambition.
Okay, all right, no worries. Thank you, Balafessa. Ambition, I appreciate that. Let me pass it to you, J Prime. J Prime, what do you think? What's your initial thoughts to open up the conversation?
Initial thoughts is, I mean, time and time, I'll say this again and again, is you got to learn how to execute. You got to learn how to get your money right, get your mind right. And that's the only way that you can make it through. If you really want to truly experience life to its maximum potential. So do you need money to attract a really good woman? Of course, you're going to eventually need that. You know, you might not have it now, but you will eventually need it for them to stick around. And I mean, just to reiterate what the panel has said before, I mean, even if you don't have money, it's the intentions of getting that bag that you need necessary to move forward in life, because it is a necessity at the end of the day, whether we like it or not. And so I'll leave it right there for now.
Okay, no worries. Thank you, J Prime. All right. I had a question for Ness. Can you elaborate more? I think you said it's not necessarily the money, but it's the traits that come with it. Can you kind of break that down a little bit more? Because sometimes I do hear from a lot of guys, there's a lot of young men out there that think that it's just the money itself. Like if they want to get women, they just have to get money. But sometimes they don't realize the underlying it's not really about the money. It's about what that man has done to get to that point to earn that money. And I think a lot of fellas don't realize they don't necessarily need to have money probably in the beginning of your life, because most young guys out of high school, you're not going to have that much money. But a lot of women is certain things about a man, the way he moves, the way he acts, his purpose, his lifestyle, that even though you don't have the money, that they'll still find those types of men who still find women. So can you kind of break that down? So you said it's not about the money, but it's about the traits that the man had to build to get the money. What do you mean by that?
Yeah, so I think for me, when I think about that question in general, about a good woman, right? Because if we're just generalizing just women in general, right? Like anybody with a couple $1,000s in their pocket can get any girl, basically. Go to a club, throw a couple racks, boom, you got a table full of girls. But for me, when I think about getting a good woman, it's when I say traits, I'm talking about like the journey, right? So what's more important, the journey or the destination, right? The destination is money, and how to get to that money is the journey. So I'm talking about the journey, waking up every single morning, making sure you're taking care of your business as a man, taking care of your household, getting up, grinding, doing whatever you need to do, so that way you can set you up to do whatever you want to do at the end of that destination. Once you reach your destination, your journey determines what you can do once you get to your destination. So that's kind of where I'm at.
Yeah, so it's about the process, right? About the process of becoming like pretty much like becoming a man and being the best man you can be. That's what a lot of women find attractive. Okay. You want to? Okay, thank you. Do you want to add on to that, Paulo Fessa, about the process? Because there's a lot of young guys. I do see it on social media, right? A lot of young guys. All women want money. No girls don't want an average man no more. So there's a lot of. I do see that a lot, especially in the manosphere. Especially a lot of guys just say, "Oh, all women are gold diggers." But I do agree. It's not really about the money. It's about the traits and the type of man that you become on your process to earn that money. And you said it on Paulo Fessa, like the money is just a byproduct at the end. It's just the finish line. All right. It's nice to have too as well. But I think for a lot of women, there are women out there that would date a man that doesn't necessarily have money, but he has a type of qualities within himself that makes him very attractive. And you mentioned ambition was one of them. Anything you want to add on to that?
Yeah, what a lot of men confuse is that it's not the money, it's your ability to make money regardless of whatever situation you're in. A lot of men will work their ass off and attain a certain level of finance, and they think, okay, I've got the money now, then women should just flock to me, without noticing it's your ability to make that money. It's not so much I have X amount of dollars now. It's if I was to be stripped back bare bone, can I still make the same money? Do I still have the same ability to start again? Right. And it's the desire to be able to have provision for a woman is something that a lot of women want out of the man. And like I said, it's a byproduct. And one of the qualities that a lot of men who do understand this value, we come with a bit of a God complex. Not to the degree that we're narcissistic, but to the degree that I don't care what life puts me through. I will earn and I will have my keep. And my responsibility will be fulfilled one way or another. And it's unfortunate that there's a lot of young men who cannot understand that, dude, if you want a family, it is your responsibility to provide. Money is part of that provision. So you cannot fault a woman who wants that.
Okay. All right, no worries, Paulo Fessa. Thank you for sharing. Let me pass it to Siaosi. Good to see you. I'm gonna go to J Prime and I'll come right back to you, Siaosi. So J Prime, anything you want to add on to that? I think the fellas made a great point. A lot of young guys think it's just about the money, but they don't realize that, you don't really necessarily need to have money. There's a lot of guys who don't have money, but they have certain traits that make them very attractive, and they still attract good women. So anything you want to add on to that as far as the process?
Yeah, I mean, I've been on both sides of the table where it's like I made my money illegitimately, and I was able to live that high life, and I got arrested and I got thrown in jail, unfortunately, and now I live this life where I'm currently running a business and curating design implementations for a lot of stuff that's going on currently, and it's the mind shift. Yes, the skill sets are there, but the mind shift itself is totally different. When you're living that life of run and gun, I mean, that's where your mind is at all the time. And so when you're looking over your shoulder everywhere you go, I mean, is that really having what you want and then also claiming yourself to be that persona of being the man of hustle, like true hustle, not just hustle where you have to consistently look over your shoulder, but hustle as in you are trying to build generational wealth here forward, regardless if it's little money or a lot of money. At the end of the day, it's what are the intentions of that, and what are the intentions of how you use it towards attracting the right woman, because we can sit here and say, argue that factuation of women like money and therefore this is what they look for men. And it's like, the way that I see it is that men like to work for money because it serves our purpose of what we fulfill. Women like money because it serves their purpose of what they like to experience. And so the exchange is equal in say. So I'll leave it right there for now if anybody wants to throw a wrench at it.
All right, no worries, no worries. I like what you just shared. You said men like money because of what it fulfills, and women like money because of the experience it brings. All right, I like that. That's an original J Prime quote. Let me pass it to you, Siaosi. Siaosi, good to see you. Siaosi, want to give yourself a quick intro, and then you can go right into it and share your general thoughts on tonight's topic. Does a man need money to attract a good woman? Go ahead, Siaosi.
All right, quick intro. Siaosi Vima. Welcome, everybody, and welcome to me too. What's up, Ness? How you doing? That is one interesting topic, right? Does a man need money to attract a good woman? How about it? It takes a good man to attract a good woman, and not necessarily finance. Finance brings all the bullshit in life. What if you're just a good enough man and it doesn't matter what you actually bring to the table? What you bring to the table is your self-value. I think you guys are way too ahead of time because you guys are like way in advance in where I'm at in terms, right? Because you're talking about adult things. You're way ahead in the conversation because you're starting to talk about adult things. I mean, we're talking about people in children, not children, adults from the age of 18 to 25, and I'm talking about, right? When you're just now introducing yourself to getting ready to find a family and what's really truly important. Because finance is not really that important in that age, between the age of 18 to 25, not really, right? And that's where you're really developing who you are as an individual, like finding who you are, developing the kind of person that you want to become in life. It doesn't necessarily have to do with money. But I have it if you develop yourself to be an awesome individual. Awesome individual. That's foremost. Foremost, right? Finance comes down the line, when you're 35, 40, and 50. So, yeah, go ahead, Will.
I want to push back, but let me open up for open discussion. Let me get the fellas real quick. Anything you want to respond or add on to the conversation? I'll definitely come back full circle. But fellas, let's open up real quick. We got to hear a chance from everybody else. Anything you guys want to add on before I push back to Siaosi?
Go ahead, Will.
Go ahead. We'll save it for next time. Next round.
All right. I would have to disagree with what Siaosi said. He said that from 18 to 25, a man's finances isn't really important. All right. Well, first and foremost, I just have to say money is important, like in general, in life. You need money to survive. You need money to pay for food. Money is always important. Doesn't matter who we are in this world. But the reason why I say that 1825 it is important, because we are in today's generation, we are more sexually active than ever. People are already having sex in high school. So if you're having sex, there's something that's called consequences. That means it's potentially be able to have children. So the thing is, if people are having sex at an earlier age in today's generation, especially for men, that means you can have children at a very young age. And if you're not on point with your finances to be able to provide for the potential children that you may have, especially in today's dating culture of casual sex, situationships, hookups, right? Tinder, all the things that's going on in today's social media, then I think it is important. I think this is part of a very young age for a lot of men to teach them to be on their grind to have values.
I'm not saying it's not important. I'm not saying it's not important, but would you much rather have a good man or a man with money?
What do you say a good man is?
Money, treat you like shit. But you much rather have a good man, good-hearted person, somebody with some values.
Don't you think that goes together? Don't you think that's together? A good man is also a man that can provide and protect and has the ability to.
Once again, Will, I'm not talking about you. Like I said, you guys are way ahead of the conversation with me.
Okay.
In terms of, you guys are talking about people that are 35, 40, and 50. We're just talking about people. We're talking about, like I said, 18 to 25. It's not really that important because you have not yet fully discovered who the hell you are. And this is the age of gathering information. You're grabbing tools, you put it in your pocket so that way you have something, right? Like I said, it's much, much more important to define yourself and really grasp yourself of who you are and who you're going to become. And you get grounded in love. You get grounded in your values. You get grounded in like maybe Jesus Christ. That makes a great man. Great man is a good man. Great man doesn't make bring good finance. That's just man with finance. But if I have it, if I'm talking to my daughter, I'd much rather you take a poor ass man that has great values, that's going to take care of you in the long run, than having somebody with finance that is set for life. But if that's what you want, you're looking at disaster. You're looking at disaster without a man without values, but had a lot of money. There's absolutely nothing other than chaos. Put that in your pocket. Or put that in your pot and cook it.
Sasha, real quick, before I pass it to you, Buffalo, let me just respond one more time. I understand the good man part, right? I understand the good man part. I totally understand that, right? What's the point of having money if you're a shitty ass man that don't know how to treat a woman, right? But don't you think that the part of a good man, I think we talk about all the time as Balafessa, like the three qualities of being a man, right? Accountability, resiliency, and discipline, right? So if a man has good values, I think it's the same thing. I think a man that's a good man is also a man that's gonna prioritize to be able to provide and protect his woman if he chooses to engage in sexual relationships. If you just by yourself as a man, then you can focus on yourself, work on yourself, growth, do what you do. Then you don't really, maybe you can put the finances on the back burner and just focus on yourself real quick and work on your self growth to find who you are as a man. But I think today is if you're choosing to go into sexual relationships with women today at an early age of 18, then you have to be prepared for the responsibility of having kids, and you have to have, and you have children at 18, and you've done that work on yourself, but you don't really have a job, you don't really have a direction, a career, or you're not stable. That can put a lot of burden not only on your potential partner or the children. So I think in today's generation where people are having, if you as a man, find yourself and try to work on yourself and be a good man. I agree with you, but if you choose to have sex at a very young age, then there is a possibility that you may have children, and you better be ready for that responsibility and have a job and have some kind of financial direction and provision. But if you don't have that, then you can be a good man and the kid come along, and now that's gonna be something that's gonna cause a lot of burden on you and a lot of problems.
I think if you really take a look at life, if you take a look at the people that's around you, and those are at the age of 18 and 20, you got to take a look at your circle. You show me a man that has everything figured out by the age of 25. Like, be real. Look around your circle. Do you have somebody between the age of 18 and 25 that has their shit figured out? You take a look. You can't say what you say when you know that somebody with the age of 18 hasn't figured everything out, except he knows that he has a heart on. Like, be real with your conversation. Like, are we even responsible at the age of 25? I don't think so. I don't think man is responsible at the age of 25. Once again, you have to take a look at your circle of people and the people that you hang around with. Are they really responsible? Or is this a concept that you want to put out there that men at the age of 18 are really in life are really responsible? Or do they have their shit figured out? I think it's a concept, and it's a cute concept, but the reality is that we're not. We're not. It's simple. We're not. We're not prepared for life. Nobody's prepared for life at the age of 18. You got to one of the very few that are actually really prepared because they're ahead of their time. But you take a look at your surrounding, you'll find. Look around in the Tongan community, the Samoan community, you'll find that 18-year-olds and the 25-year-olds are not ready to have a family because they don't have shit figured out.
No, I understand that. Like, most people, I wasn't ready, but I think, like I said, we can change that as men who are going to be the future. That if you want to be a leader for the next generation, we can start that conversation. We can kind of live a lifestyle for a lot of these young boys to kind of exemplify and look up to. But like I said, if we if we don't do anything as men or anybody out there want to become a leader, then this always happens. It's just a repeating cycle that's constantly going to happen. And guys going to have kids out of wedlock that don't want to take responsibility. But I think it is good for us. Like, you know what? Hey, guys, I know most of us don't have our shit together by 18 to 25. I understand that. But if you choose to make these certain type of choices, if you don't want to attract the hardships that most 18, 25-year-olds have and make your heart harder, then these are the type of things you should do to kind of help you in that journey and prepare yourself for these set choices. But if you choose to engage in those choices, hey, that's you. You have to figure it out. You have to take responsibility. But there is an other way. There is an alternative route that you can take, that you can still find yourself as a man. You can still find a woman as a man, and you can be prepared for it and not just go into it, like you said, young, naive, and don't know what the fuck you're doing, and then have to learn the hard way. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I get that. And I definitely agreed that's something that we all need to work forward to as the next generation, right? And I have it. That's where we begin in this conversation. That it's having people be aware of what is necessary to raise a family. You know, I started at 25. I wasn't ready at 25. I have a daughter that's 27, and a son that's 25. I'm not ready. I take a look at them and I'm like, you have no idea. You're barely a man yourself. You're barely a woman, right? So, to follow the conversation, I mean, if we want to talk about 30 and above, that's a whole different kind of conversation, right? That's a whole different kind of conversation. But if we're talking what does a man need money to attract a good woman? And this is what I think we talked about this last week. If you're awesome inside, what you're going to find on the other side is awesome. If you're looking for goodness in your life, if you are the goodness in who you are, you will find goodness out there. If you are the piece of shit that you are in here, what you're going to find is a piece of shit. And it doesn't take money.
Okay.
Who you are is what you attract. The person that you become in life is what you attract. You know, like we talked about last week, fat people hang around with fat people. Skinny people hang around with skinny people, right? Fit people hang around with fit people. And you want to take a look why. We all like to mingle with those that we don't have to work harder. When you're willing to move forward and work hard for yourself, you're going to be with mind-like people. So it's elevating what's going on up here that makes a difference.
All right, no worries. Siaosi, I'm done with my pushback. Let me pass it to the fellas. I just had to get Siaosi fired up, but go ahead.
Fired up. Man,
Yeah.
I'm ready to go.
It's good. It's good that this conversation is coming up. And Siaosi, you bring up a really great point. And the point is, what 18 to 25-year-old has got shit figured out? I'd like to think that I did. I got it figured out pretty much at 23, 24 with my wife. So the fact that to a certain extent that I've figured it out at a very young age puts me in a place where I expect my children to be at somewhat of a same level or playing field at that point. So it is possible, and rather than trying to expect people to follow my same footsteps or pathways, it is possible. How do I make that replicable to everyone else?
Yeah.
It's not so much I've done it, I expect you to do it. How do I replicate what I've gone through with my own children at first? And can I do that with other people? The other thing too is, no, you do not need money to attract a good woman. However, you do need to figure out money in order to maintain a good woman and to keep a good woman. I work with a lot of men in their 40s and 50s who they work 12 to 14-hour shifts. Their wives are also working the same hours. They sometimes have to pick up 2 or 3 shifts all throughout the week, and they don't have time for their families. And this is children who are left on their own device. And the reason why money needs to be an important discussion and conversation, which is what we're having now, is that you can be a good man. Great, fantastic. But if you're not alleviating a lot of the pressures from your wife and children, good man becomes stagnant. And not only that, the pressures on a woman who loves you, the children that you're going to have, gets to a point where now it's no longer about whether you're good or not. Are you fulfilling your responsibilities? And I see men who walk into my office and we have these conversations. What am I doing wrong? My children don't respect me. My wife gets really iffy in most days. She almost runs the whole household. And I ask, what are you doing? Have you ever tried to earn more than minimum wage? And they go, why should I? We're both working. We're both contributing. And exactly. Have you ever considered that maybe the extra $5 on top of your wage might alleviate your wife to be able to be the mother that she needs to be the woman that she needs to be? Have you ever thought of that? So these conversations are powerful and important for me, and I can hear from both you and Will how you're looking at this topic. I agree. No, you don't need money, but you better damn sure make sure that your earning potential is not a stagnant piece of that puzzle.
All right, no worries, Professor. Thank you for adding that part. T, thank you for jumping on as a public guest. I'll definitely come back to you. Want to go back. Let me go back to the panel real quick and get their thoughts real quick, and I'll come back to you, T. Ness, anything you want to add on to the conversation based on what you heard? Anything you want to push back? Go ahead, Ness.
Yeah, I like the idea that Siaosi, or that everybody was saying, as far as like from the 18 to 25-year-old, right? So when I think about, do you need money to attract a good woman, right? So when we're talking about the 18 to 25, you're only attracting one type of woman from 18 to 25. It's a good woman, wise. And that's one that's going to find you at your lowest, and that's going to ride this wave out with you, right? From the 18 to 25. But Siaossi's right. When we get into our 30s, past 25 and stuff like that, like that's the end goal. So I challenge us for the rest of this topic to always think of it as the destination. The destination is the money part, right? The financial part, the stability part. The journey on how to get there is exactly what Paul Professor said, and what everybody said on here. Is like, how do we get to that point? What are some of the core values that we have instilled in us to make sure that we can provide, right? So when Professor, when you said something about like the good guys, I like to categorize them as the nice guys. Because there's a huge difference between nice guys and good guys. Good guys know better. Good guys know how to get to that destination. Nice guys will do the bare minimum, so that way they can be seen as a certain type of guy to get what he wants, his selfish needs. But a good guy will know, like, all right, cool, I gotta provide, I gotta protect, I gotta get to this destination. And by the time I get to this destination, I'm gonna have all these core values. And by that, and hopefully at that time, I'll be financially stable enough to get the good girl that I need, so that way my legacy, our legacy, my last name could last for ages, if that makes sense. So I just wanted to throw that in there.
No, that was good. That was a good nice guys versus good guys. Thanks for breaking that down. Let me pass it to you, J Prime. Anything you want to add on, J Prime? Go ahead.
I mean, within the interests of semantics, I just want to say that the average millionaire, at least in the United States, reaches at their first million when they're at around the age 37. If you take that into consideration and calculate what the statistics are for how long it actually takes to make that first million, roughly it takes about 14.7 years. This is all from the US Census. Okay. So 14 years previous to being 37 is what it takes on average within the US. So that means from 21 to at least 25, you have a short window of gap to become one of the elitists in the United States. I understand that not every man is trying to reach for that, but it's when you argue the semantics of, 19 to 25, you didn't get your shit together. It's like 19 to 25, I was in jail most of the time, and that made me get my shit together. Like that really roughened me out and made me square my shit up so that way I could get out and ball the fuck out and not turn back. And it's like, it's little things like that that really set the tone for the next men in line. And I think that's what Paul Fessa is trying to really convey here. And also what I'm also trying to convey here is that if you don't figure your shit out between these, this gap that you have between 19 and 31, your likelihood of reaching that mark where you could be financially stable and be able to have the money necessary to keep a good woman, not just attract a good woman, but keep a good woman, your chances slowly lengthen out. And so I understand that ambition is not what every man is, predicated towards, but the ambitious goal of finding value within something that you want to fulfill, something that you can proclaim yourself to be. With men, we like to do this thing whenever we ask somebody, like, what do you do for work? It's like, oh, I'm this. I'm a construction worker. I do XYZ. Oh, I'm a boss. I do XYZ. Men get off on that shit. Women don't get off on that shit. Men do. And that's the thing, is that a lot of these men, they have, 20, 30 jobs on their rap sheet before they even turn 30. And it's like, no wonder why you're not getting anywhere. And it's like, I can honestly say that because I am one of those men. I had multiple jobs on my rap sheet. I've been in and out of jail, in and out of the system since I was, adolescence. And it's like, either it can make me or break me. And I choose to not let it break me no longer. And so it's like one of those things where you gotta really look at, the topic that we have today. Do men need money to attract good women? Honestly, I think that men do. They do need to figure their shit out. They do need to figure out finances, and they need to figure it all out in order for men to keep good women today, targeting the 19 through 25 year olds. If you want to have a good woman by the time you're 37, which you probably might be a millionaire if you choose the route of ambition, it's like you're gonna need that backbone in order to get to that position. And having just some side piece is not going to help you get there. It's having a good woman that's going to get you there.
All right, no worries. Thank you for sharing, J Prime. Pass it back to you, Siaosi. Siaosi, anything you want to add on or push back?
Where's Tia? Tia, you wanted to have a conversation? You're just gonna hang out. Yeah, I have it. It's crazy because we want to also take a look at what the hell is a good woman. Like, you guys are throwing around good woman, and what makes a good man? Like, what makes a good woman? You can have a poor ass good woman, and you can have a decent good woman, but what makes a good woman? Is it, is Professor's wife considered a good woman? Is that what we're having? Like somebody that just, does what she does, and when she comes home and she takes care of her husband? I don't know what that is for you guys, right? But you want to get clear what a good woman is. Because I hear so much these days about body counts, with women having body counts. What makes a good woman? That's just something to think about. What makes a good woman? Before we move on to this conversation, that having multiple sex, more than 6, more than 8, more than 12. What are the baggages that they come with? Like, what makes a good woman? So that way we're clear.
Okay. No worries. We'll say that. We'll definitely go on that good woman. Only we can break that down real quick, Siaosi. All right. But let me pass it to you, T. Thanks for jumping on as a public guest, for jumping on the podcast. What's your thoughts on the conversation, T? Go ahead. Does a man need money to attract a good woman?
Hello for everyone. Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
All right.
Yes, sir.
Weirdly enough, the person that sent me the link to your guys' podcast lives all the way back in the home island. So I think it's kind of ironic that he's tuning into Eastern conversation here, as our, mother islands are getting a little bit more advanced as far as relationships and the dynamics between relationships. Before I answer the question, Will, I wanted to, because I was going off of what Siaosi was saying. What is a good woman? And I just want to get a basis before I have any input as to if
we're gonna discuss the good woman part. We're gonna open up the conversation, but you want to just share your piece real quick, and then we'll definitely come back.
It depends on where you're at. It also depends on because for your podcast, it's not just people here in the U.S. or in Australia, New Zealand. There's a lot of people tuning in from all across the board. So it really depends on the environment. But I think to everybody's point is you have to get your shit together. So if you have a good basis of morals and principles, as far as where you need to be at in order for you to even be concerned about attracting a woman, because if you really have your shit together, you can easily, I think you can easily weed out what money attracts versus what you need. You know what I'm saying? But you can have a lot of money, but you only attract the money type woman. But if you have everything together, if you have your goals set and what you want within a woman, I think even if you don't have as much money, but you got your shit together, it attracts what you actually need for you to get to, whether if you're trying to be ambitious, you know, be a multimillionaire, or just have a stable core for your family. So you do need it, but I think you don't need it as much, because it all depends on the woman too. They tend to be very emotional creatures, and depending on where you're from, some women it's all about the money. Some women just want you to just treat them right, I guess. But it's easier for you to weed out what you need versus what your money attracts, I think. So it's like a yes and no, but more so no, more so of no.
Okay. All right. No worries. Thank you, T. Let me read some more comments real quick, and then we'll definitely come back and we can kind of break down the good woman part. Marlena Davidson on the live chat said, yes, JP, you are right about the prison situation. All right. Shout out to Marlena Davidson. Thank you for being on the live chat. I see William Itonu Final. Hey, if a man needs money to attract a good woman, then you, my friend, are not a man. LOL. Hey, shout out to you, William Itonu. Good to see you in the live chat for the first time. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I see Mata Alpha here on the first time on the live chat. Mata Alpha said, generations before us were more sexually active. Having kids young is not why men need money to get women. All right, so you can have kids and don't worry about money. All right, no worries. Thank you, Mata Alpha. And of course, I see TJCMU on the live chat for the first time. Just a thumbs up. And shout out to you. Hey, thank you so much for being on the live chat. Don't forget to like, subscribe. And don't forget, this is a public show, as you guys can see. T just jumped on as a public guest. If you guys want to jump on, especially the ladies, if you would love to hear the female perspective, to jump on with us and have this conversation. If men need money to attract a good woman. But let's dive into Siaosi's question. Let's kind of define what a good woman is in your perspective. Let me start with you.
We're all screwed.
All right. Let me start with you. Let me start with you, Ness. Ness, what's your definition of a good woman?
Shoot, man, we're gonna be here for a while.
Don't say it, Ness. Don't do it, Ness.
I'm gonna keep that. I'm gonna keep that to myself, just in case if she's watching right now. Then, I'm just playing. Ultimately, what it comes down to, it as a Polynesian, specifically talking, what I look for in a good woman is her understanding of the kavekola, okay? And also not only that, understanding the respect factor between my mom and my sisters. I want her to. I would love for her to love my mom and my sisters the way that I know that I'm going to love her siblings and her parents. I want those anybody who's able to, a woman that's able to do that, right? I don't care about a job. I don't care about a career. Her ambitions, absolutely. If she has a dream and she wants to pursue something, cool. That's 100%. But somebody that's nurturing. Somebody that can take care of our kids. Somebody that can be the total opposite of me. If I have to be the bad bearer of news, so to speak. If I have to be the disciplinary, I want her to be the nurturer. I want her to see the lighter side in life. If I have to come down and on my kids and show them that, hey, there's a harsh reality of it. But on the flip side, I want my girl to be like, hey, look, I know your dad said this, but really, like, to love on our kids. We talked about, I know we're going to talk about it a little bit later, but the unconditional love part for my wife to my kids, for my wife to my mom, my sisters, to me, stuff like that. So.
All right, no worries, Ness. Thank you for sharing that. Let me pass it to you, Palafesa. Palafesa, what's your definition of a good woman?
There's two complementary things. Only two. Quite simple for me. A woman is good by nature. by nature until she tries and prove otherwise. And it has to be supplemented with, regardless of what this woman goes through, she still has a healthy outlook on male to female dynamics. That is a good woman. Regardless of what the world puts her through, she looks at men and judge them based on men's quality, and look at women and go, look, as a woman, I understand that men thrive in certain situations. I may have had bad experiences with some men, but not all men are this particular type. And my definition for a good woman is just pure and simple. And it doesn't matter regardless of where they come from or what sort of outfit that they wear. Most women are good by nature unless they try and prove otherwise. And if they have a good outlook on life in terms of who they are and what they expect out of men, that is a good woman. And I think the other question that we should also sort of dive into a little bit later is that we need to define money also. What do we mean when we say money? Is it multi-millionaire? Is it 6-figure, 7-figure? Because that's also quite important. I think a couple of the gents here have mentioned that the thing about money is that it depends on the woman. I think take away the woman. What is it that I as a man should bring to the table when I do attract a good woman? Whether the woman wants money or not, I think for me personally, it is my responsibility to look after a woman who's made an equal choice in this, and Siaosi would like to say it, partnership. What is it that I should bring to her? How should I look after her and the children that she's going to bear for me? So yeah, look, I don't complicate a lot of my definitions with women. I see a lot of good women out there who are trying to keep a fair judgment on men and women altogether, and that's all it is. There are women who are trying to prove themselves to be equal to men.
Okay, all right. No worries. Thank you for sharing that, Balafessa. Let me pass it to you, T, and then I'll come to you, Siaosi. What do you think, T? What's your definition? What's your definition of a good woman, T?
Ooh. I hope she's watching, but I think I'm more. I kind of go off of Balafessa's definition, because he is right. By nature, they are what they are as far as caring, and they're very committed to like a family oriented, especially Polynesian women. I think for me it's very simple. It's just headstrong, very open-minded, because the two of you might come from not just different cultures, but because religion is another big thing for Polynesian cultures. But it's just understanding the differences between you two. So that's where the open mind comes in. To begin with, I'm a very, very simple guy. It doesn't take a lot to make me happy, rather than a cup of coffee and some snacks. But it's not hard for me to also try to figure out the dynamics between me and the kind of woman I would want to attract. So open mind is probably one of the most important things for me, because it helps open conversations. It helps start that conversation between you and that woman, and then from there you guys can just build off of it. So I think for me that's what makes a good woman.
All right, no worries. Thank you so much, T. And I see KTS on the live chat. She's kind of triggered about us discussing about our definition of a good woman. How about asking a woman's perspective, or have a few women on the panel? Hey, the women are, this is a public podcast, KTS. I'm assuming you're probably a woman, so this is the public link is clicked on, it's on the YouTube live chat. Why don't you jump on and add your perspective as a woman? I would love to hear it. I would love to invite you ladies to come on. All right, but let me pass it back to you, Siaosi. Siaosi, what's your definition of a good woman?
Wow, we're all gonna get slammed for this. All right, now are we talking about good tongue, good Samoan woman? Or are we talking about back from the 1980s? Or are we talking about a good woman in 2000 and wherever we're at, 22. What are we talking about? Because I'm the way that I was brought up, having a good woman is completely different than what we have now. So which one you referring to? You want a modern woman, or you want that good woman that I was brought up with?
I just want your definition. There's
no definition. You can't define
You asked the
what a
question.
good woman is, because there's so much in there, right? But I can bring on what is needed to what a woman is today, perhaps. Like I'm all speculating. I'm speculating about, especially with women now. But I can definitely give you a perspective where I came from. Does that make sense? I can definitely give you a perspective from my life and where I came from, what a good woman was, and how it's described to us, and in terms of how I lived inside the culture. And also I can speculate about what a good woman could be, in these days. So which perspective are you looking for?
I mean, Siaosi, for me, I don't understand that, because I think every man. I mean, I understand where you're coming from. Of there's a modern, there's a traditional, but I think every man, we have some kind of judgment to see. Oh, this is probably a good woman, and this is probably not a wrong woman. Like, don't you ever have don't you have that perspective when you see certain women that in your mind you be like, you know what, that's probably not a good woman, and then you look at certain women, oh, that's probably a good woman. You don't have that judgment. We all make that judgment.
I no longer live in that world that I sit around walking, judging people, and that's what I'm referring to. I used to walk around judging people. I no longer live in that world. So you're asking me a question about how do I judge a woman, whether a good woman or not? No, I give people the opportunity to be better every single day. But he asked me if I want to know what a good woman is when I was growing up. Are you ready for that? Yes or no?
I mean, if you want to, you can share.
All right, good. Here's what I was brought up with: a good tongued woman that you want to marry, right? First of all, they're a virgin, so that they know that you are committed 100%. They go to church, and they come right back after church, and they stay home. Right? You can go out on a date, but you have to have a chaperone. And the chaperone's job is to make sure that none of the extra activity gets to take place, because there's someone that's watching over. All the tradition that Fina was talking, that the Nesi was talking about, is present. You get to know who my father is. You understand who my father is. You understand who my mother is. You understand the levels of where everybody's at in terms of my oldest brothers, my sisters, all down the bottom. That's a whole different world that I grew up in than the world we have now. Big difference. The world that we live in now is, is what it is. If you had sex with 10 to 12 guys, you're still considered a good woman, all depending on what a man needs. Whether it's a short time, it's a reason, a season, or a lifetime. So I don't know what the hell a good woman is these days. I definitely have found people that I no longer judge them for what they've done in the past, and they have worked on themselves and reflect on their life to become awesome individuals. Awesome individuals. Right? And then the man that has to walk in has to understand that everything that they've done in their past is their past. It has nothing to do with who they are at this moment. And that's a lot of work on a man. And that's why I have it. That's why most people do not last, because they're unwilling to give up that a woman now has had more than 6 to 8 partners in life. And that woman has brought all the baggages from every single relationship. And is a man willing to deal with that? Maybe no. But there's so much in between. And that's why I said there's the world I grew up in, and what we have today is what it is. And definitely, and that's why I do not walk around judging a woman or a man and what they have done in their past. Like we all gotta start looking at life different, looking at people as human beings instead of their actions and what they've done in the past. You take a look at JP. He's done what he's
Siaosi,
done. He's grown over that, right? And we give people the opportunity to grow themselves out of their past so that they rise as human beings.
Siaosi, a quick question before I pass it back to the panel. Do you think something's, do you think, because the way I heard it, it seems like there's something wrong with judging people, especially when it comes to the partner that you want to choose, right? I think judging. I mean, I think we all judge. I think there's nothing wrong with judging. I think it's when like I judge people all the time, but that doesn't change how I treat people. But I think when it comes to judgment, when it comes to judging a partner, I think that's more preference and standards. Like every guy and every woman has certain standards of what they want in a partner, and they're going to judge people based on those standards. And I think there's nothing wrong with that. It's like if you as a man don't want a woman with a high body count, and you judge women, you know what? I don't want to date women that's having like 10, 12, 30 partners. I don't think that's nothing wrong with that. That if you judge women that way, you have a preference, you have a certain standard on the type of partner you have. But I think we all do that. I think every man, even including yourself, I think we all judge people based on the standards that we want from the partner that we want to be with.
Yeah.
I don't
like
think
I said, I no longer judge people. And here's the reason why I no longer judge people. I had to take a look at myself. What I've done in my past and what I was judging people was on my own experience of life. My insecurities I was judging people for. So when you're sitting there judging people, it's not you're judging who they are and what they're doing. You're judging your own bullshit of life and what you've gone through. And I hope you guys get that.
Okay.
When you're judging other people, it's not who they are. It's who you are for yourself. Your own bullshit of life, your own insecurities. And that's what judgment is. Now, there's a difference in assessing who somebody is and judging people. You can sit there and assess somebody, but to judge people, you're not judging who they are because they're doing what they're doing, and what you're doing is that reflecting on your own life and your bullshit in life, and you go and project it on somebody else. How beautiful are you? What a beautiful gentleman you are that you get to sit and judge somebody else with your own bullshit. And that's why I said I don't have that. I used to. But I work enough on myself that I reflect who I am inside on every single person that's around me. Yeah. Once in a while, I'll still judge people, right? I got to catch myself when that happens and not project my own bullshit on somebody else.
Okay. All right. No worries. No, okay. No. Thank you. Now I see the difference. Okay. I can see the difference. Okay. Got you. All right. Thank you,
I was
Siaosi.
about to say, so
all right.
I guess it's semantics, and I agree with the assessing people. And there are certain situations where you have to be quite critical of the people that get access to certain spaces, which is really important, right? If you make the mistake of just willingly offer everyone second chance, it might be your last. So I think it's great to be around a group of people where judgment is no longer needed. However, in the world that often most people live in, judgment is a critical tool, essentially, for survival.
I think you might be mistaking judgment in assessing people, right? To judge is to make people wrong. You get that? To judge somebody is making them wrong for what they're doing. To assess is to take a look at why is it they've done the things that they do. I don't think we have it that it's judging. I think it might be I don't know. We all might need to take a look at what judging is.
Yeah, could be on words. Could be definition of words.
Or be semantics. Maybe semantics. All right, no worries. Let me read some comments real quick and I'll come back to you guys, fellas. I see Sherry Mokofisi on the live chat. She said, "You're awesome, Siaosi." All right, no worries. Thank you, Sherry. Hey, Sherry, I think that you're the first time being on the live chat. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Shout out to you, Sherry. Appreciate you. I see Mata Alpha on the live chat said, "Can a promiscuous woman become a good woman?" I don't know. Depends on you. As a man, if you like high body count, low body count, it's up to you.
I think that's interesting. What that whole comment with what you just said is very interesting, right? Can a promiscuous woman become an awesome woman down the line? Now, if we truly believe in allowing people to grow out of adolescency, then we can definitely see some growth, right? if we give people the opportunity to grow out of being a child, right, then they'll definitely grow up to be different. But that's for us men to give that's for us men to give people the opportunity to discover who they are and discover what they've done, whether it's right or wrong.
Yeah,
it's a great question.
Great question, Mataofa. Thank you. And I see Deku Entertainment on the live chat said, been a while since I caught a live. What's up, fellas? Hey, what's up with Deku Entertainment? Thank you for jumping on. I appreciate being on the live chat. And don't forget to like and subscribe, y'all. Don't forget, this is a public podcast. You guys want to jump on. Ladies, Sherry, I see some ladies on here, Sherry and KT. If you guys want to jump on, I will definitely love to hear the female perspective. And let me know what is a good woman from the female perspective. I'd love to hear what you guys said. And I think Mataofa said on the live chat, his definition of a good woman. He said loyal, submissive, and beautiful. Hey, can't go wrong with that. It cannot go wrong with that. All right. Nonetheless, fellas, anything you guys want to add on before we move on to the next topic? J Prime, Ness, or T?
Yeah, I'll throw in something a little bit. So the difference between assessing and judging is assessing is the value of something by its pertainment. Judging is an opinion of evidence of the factuation. So that's the difference between assessing and judgment, where when you formulate an opinion, that is judging. When you are showing what is available, that is assessing. In my eyes, for considering what a good woman could be,
don't say it, Joe. In your eyes.
Say it, Joe. Say it.
Say it, Joe. Be careful, Joe. You got slammed last time.
The way that I like to look at it is, I don't really care about the semantics of body count. I don't really care about, what a woman's been through. I don't really give a shit about that kind of stuff. What I care about is, are we going to build from here forward? I've said this time and again, and I'll say it once more. If I bring the table to the conversation, can you at least make the table so we can eat? If I bring you ingredients, could you make me a meal? If I give you money, can you cater to the finances necessary to hold the fort down, if it may be? In my position that I hold within my household, I do what many fathers don't have the opportunity to do. I'm a stay-at-home dad. I work from home. I work in big tech. I cook, I clean, I put my daughter down for sleep. I do all of the regular things that a mom would do. And I also do all of the things that a father typically does. And then on top of that, I am the breadwinner within my own family. And so the way that I see it is more along the lines of a case-by-case basis. Everybody has their own opinions and their own leeway that they're willing to compromise on. With my wife and I, we have a dynamic where we both have a goal and we have not yet reached that goal, and we're doing everything that we can to focus on that goal. Can you guys have that conversation with your woman? Because in my experience, not a lot of men can. And so I'll leave it right there for now.
All right, no worries. Thank you, J Prime. Ness, T, anything you want to add on before we move on? You guys are good.
Yeah, no, I'm good. Well, we can move on unless T got something.
Okay. Yes. All right. T, you got something to say, T?
I do have a question for Siaosi, and I apologize in advance. I don't mean to overstep, but I think with the question that Will presented tonight, we kind of answered on how we look at it or what our preference is as far as what we want. But I'm kind of curious as what your preference is what you look for in a woman. Not a good woman, but what you would look for.
See, now you're talking, right? That's being very specific. Yeah, what I look for in a woman is someone that's willing to really take a look at their life and look at the default of way of being and really go to work on themselves. The ability to having a conversation daily about what they're dealing with and also what I'm dealing with in life. So that way that our communication is truly clear, that it's not left up to her interpretation, and I'm not left with my interpretation of what she's saying. And only that, and it's the ability to have communication to the fullest, whether it's heated conversations that leads to having some answers in life in the moment. And at the same time, you can have that communication, and if they're on it, and when I say they're on it, if they're angry or if they're disappointed, that they can give it up in the moment, that they discover that they're being mad and they're giving meaning to whatever it is that I'm saying. They can give it up like this. And we can come back to life and be present with being in the moment. That's a hard person to come along, to find, right? Somebody that's really taking and willing to look at themselves and really go to work on themselves, that when they come in front of you, it's nothing but love. No distraction. And when I say distraction, none of the chatter that's happening in your head, it's happening. That is quiet. When she walks in, she brings value to your life, and it's peace and quiet. It's not where I showed up late. It's not where I didn't call you, but the communication is clear. That's what makes a beautiful woman for me, right? Because I get to walk around with my peace of mind in my head. I don't have to worry about whatever it is that she's doing. She's staying in communication. It's not like you don't have to cook for me. Like, I got cereal. I can make my own cereal and eat. I can stop by the store. But the communication for me is foremost. Foremost. And then you're taking a look at, how a woman should look. Doesn't matter in a sense. Because when you're in love with somebody that's clear in their mind, it doesn't really matter. Because I'm going to repeat what Professor says. When you're in love up here, right? I can love every inch of your body. Because I'm in love with you up here. I'm not in love with the physical being. I'm in love with the thought. With the thought process that you go through as a woman. And that we go together as partners. When you're that kind of love, the physical part doesn't happen.
Ideal woman. Thanks, Siaosi.
Okay, no worries, T. Thank you for sharing. And thank you for sharing that question, T and Siaosi.
Professor, every goddamn inch.
And I see KTS. A good woman is someone who knows who they are, comfortable with their flaws, but can easily identify their strengths, not arrogantly though. All right, no worries. All right, thank you, KT, for being on the live chat.
Beautiful. Well said.
Definitely would KT. Definitely would invite you to come on. But yeah, let's go. Let's definitely move on to the next topic, fellas. This is a good comment. I want to have this conversation because I did bring up the topic on our Discord live chat just to hear what the women said. There is this conversation because we're talking about does a man need money to attract a good woman, right? Of course, we have an understanding that money is important to a degree, depending on where you are in life as a man in a relationship and in the real world. It takes money to build a family. It takes money to pay bills and provide and protect for the children and the family. And there's a lot of women out there that do want a man that can be a strong provider, protector, and they can trust him to be able to be a good leader to provide security and future. But there is a lot of women out there that are saying that they can love a man unconditionally, regardless if he has money or not. That they will love you. They will love you to the ends of the earth. Whether you have money, no money, they will be loyal with you till the end. They will not leave you and go find a better man. So I want to open up the conversation. I don't believe in unconditional love. I do believe a man is always judged based on the value of what he can provide or protect. That's just the life of a man. That's just the journey that we all go through. We have to build our value to become members in society and also become valuable, especially when it comes to attracting women. But there's a lot of men out there that think that they can just be a good man and that's it. Like you mentioned before, Siaosi, just being a good man is enough. Being like Nesi, being a nice guy is enough. And not really prioritize a lot of focus on their ambitions and provide protecting and follow. As I mentioned earlier in the podcast, that can cause a lot of issues with the relationship, especially when it comes to the wife has to work and the children have spending more time with the children. So money does play a big factor. But I want to open up the conversation. Unconditional love. Can a woman love a man unconditionally, regardless if he has no money or not? Even if the man chooses, you know what, I don't want to make money in the future. I'm just good just being where I'm at right now and be very stagnant. Or maybe he doesn't want to work no more. And would the woman still love him unconditionally no matter what? I want to open up that conversation. All right, so let me start with you. T, what do you think? Let me, thank you for jumping on the public guest, but I want to ask your general thoughts on that. T, do you think that women can unconditionally love a man regardless if he has money or not, or even if he chooses not to provide any kind of financial value to the relationship? Because, I'm good, I don't want to work no more. What do you think about that conversation? What's your thoughts on that, T?
That relationship is probably not going to last that long, especially if we're going off of, in the United States itself, everything is money. Your bills, electricity, phone, food, and that's part of it. You kind of don't have your shit together, and if the woman kind of sees that you're just being stagnant and just sitting still, they are emotional creatures at the end of the day, so they're going to find comfort in somebody else who can actually provide. And once they see, we have this analogy that we use in the Samoan language, which is feed, like chicken feed, right? After you eat over here on this chicken feed, and when this one runs out, you go to the other chicken feed that's much bigger. So it does cause some problems, because although there might be an understanding, but there's also like what women want to do. And I'm not trying to, for the women that are watching, I'm not trying to say that you guys are simple-minded, it's all about money, but especially when you factor in kids, having children, or having children that you wasn't planning on having, and you're really struggling, the relationship itself is kind of, it's kind of shot. But if you're the kind of dude who does, I mean, in a perfect world, that can happen for a guy if that's what they're looking for. But especially for where I'm at, everything is about finances. Everything is about money, and if you don't have it, and money, we also have a saying. I don't know about all Polynesian cultures. Money is also the root of all evil. It causes a lot of problems, whether we want to see it that way or not, but it actually does. As much as we don't want to agree with that statement sometimes, whether you're religious or not, but it does cause a lot of, it does cause a lot of issues within families too. That's my take. Relationship is probably not going to last. Unless he is somebody who is fully devoted to you to the ends of the earth, maybe there's a possibility, but it'll probably go up in flames.
Yeah, that person that's fully devoted to you to the ends of earth, that's called your mom. Okay.
I mean,
all right, let me pass it to you. All right, let me pass it to you, Ness. Ness, what do you think? Can women love a man unconditionally, whether or not he has money or no money, or he wants to make money or not? Go ahead, Ness.
So I want to make sure that I say this properly before somebody clips this, and then I'm labeled as a woman hater or whatnot. I'm going to generalize this.
Don't say it.
Okay, everybody mark this time limit right now, so that way we can clip whatever he says now.
118.
Right.
118, 19. All right, go ahead.
A majority of women, right? A majority of women will only love a man unconditionally. Well, no, actually, no. Let me start over again. A man or a woman will only love a man under conditions. There are no such thing as unconditional love from a woman to a man, because of what T said. Us men, we have to provide something of value, right? I think Chris Rock said it best, right? Like when us boys are talking to our boys, if I'm like, oh, hey, Will, man, I just got done talking. I'm talking to this new girl. Well, some of the responses from my boys are going to be, oh, what does she look like? But when a girl goes and tells her girlfriends, oh man, I met this guy. I met this guy. What are the two of the things that the girl's going to say? What does he do? So it's women will always, a majority of women, okay? There are specific cases, right? There are exceptions to the rule, but the rule is that majority of women do not love men unconditionally. So that's my stance. I'm gonna die on that hill, and we could explain more of it later. So,
Ness, I'll be right there next to you, man. We can die together. All right. Nevertheless, thank you so much, Nis. Let me pass it to you, Balafessa. Balafessa, what's your thoughts, Balafessa? Can women love a man unconditionally, whether or not he has money?
To anyone who thinks that they can love unconditionally, come back to me when you look at your child who's got an empty stomach and you're living paycheck to paycheck. Come back to me when your child has decided to go down a road of crime because you, as parents, cannot provide the bare minimum for this child to survive. Come back to me and say unconditional. Because I've seen fathers who've broken down in my presence, and I've seen kids who come through programs that I'm involved with, and one of the questions that typically ask, and it's a cliche one, why do you go down the pathway that you did? And it's because there's no food at home. My parents don't seem to understand my needs as a child. So look, you can love your man unconditionally, but put a child in that mix and see how that goes well for you. And I would like to hope that some people get into a relationship because they want to build a family. Every day I look at my children's face gives me the ability to look at the world and go, you deserve the world in a better place. And if I am the stepping stone for the world to be better, then so be it. Finances is very important. The ability to earn and to provide for a man is very important. So we can live in fantasy world and go, yeah, I'll love you unconditionally, blah, blah, blah. When the chip are down and shit hits a fan, come back to me and have this conversation again. I guarantee you, the broken heart and the broken face of a child will change your mind. Because I've seen it. So it's quite a nice fantasy, I would say.
Yeah, I appreciate painting the reality. You know, oftentimes when people talk about unconditional love, we like to live in the perfect world, like T said, the fairy tale. But that is the harsh reality of what happens when a man can't provide. Thank you for bringing that up. Let me pass it to you, Siaosi. Siaosi, what's your thoughts? Can women love a man unconditionally, whether or not he wants to make money or he has money or not? It's the same type of love. What do you think, Siaosi?
Yeah, I like I said, I can only speak from my experience, right? What I've experienced in life is definitely. And we're talking about a woman that I described earlier. In my description of what a woman be when I was growing up. Unconditional love it's 100%. It's been there in my life. It's a beautiful thing. Yeah, look, just get that I'm touched, moved, and inspired this moment when you think about someone that's been unconditional to you all your life. You know, for the last almost 30 years of my life, this individual has unconditional, regardless of what I've done and what I've done in life. She's always grounded me, in a sense, loving me for who I am in my stupidity. It's durable, even when I wasn't making any money. She stood there. She went to work while I was being stupid. So yeah, the question to that is yes. And you know what's his name? Chris Rock at the same time have said one time, like, only women, children, and dogs are loved unconditionally. A man is only loved under the condition that he provides something. And that may be true in a lot of relationships, but in the relationship that I have lived, unconditional love is present. And you want to take a look what kind of woman that she had to be to stand in unconditional. No one can say it's powerful. I'm reflecting on my life in the way that she is and she was. It's powerful because it didn't matter what I did. always come home and she's grounded in her values. She's grounded in the way that she was brought up. She's grounded in her church. She's grounded. So that's there for me.
Okay. All right, Malo Siaosi, Malo, thank you for sharing that. Let me pass it to you, J Prime. J Prime, what do you think? Can women love a man unconditionally, whether or not he has money, whether or not he wants to make money or not? Same type of love. Go ahead, J Prime.
Can a woman do it? Yes, of course, she can. I like to think that men will more likely be able and have the capability of loving somebody unconditionally than women can, because of the fact that we lack thereof. And, you know, I just wanted to correct T a little bit. The correct quote is the love of money is the root of all evil. And the person who quoted that was the Apostle Paul. So,
amen.
And so in the teaching of that, I kind of wanted to derive my answer from that. Is in the teaching of what the Apostle Paul was trying to say during that, is that the attachment to anything is disconcerting for the belief in God. So when you love unconditionally, that should be of yourself, in yourself, and through yourself, instead of predicated on one. Do I expect my wife to love me unconditionally? No, I actually don't. Do I know for a fact that my mom loves me unconditionally? Of course I do. I'm her son. Now, the way that I see it and the way that I like to think about it is along the lines of, you know, under the right conditions, it is very, very plausible, not possible. Okay, so when I say plausible, I mean endearly as under the right conditions. When I say it's not possible, is because there are circumstances needed to be met in order for it to happen. And so men are conditioned to love unconditionally because of the fact that we know that this is something that we may never ascertain to, no matter how hard we try. For the select few of men that are out there that do end up, you know, receiving this type of love, as Siaosi has, you know, a lot of men like to get into the midst of it consuming them, like nobody appreciates me. You know, they take that lack of the unconditional love and they use it as a tool to say, oh, I shouldn't deserve this, or oh, I shouldn't deserve that, or, you know, it puts them into a spiral. At least it can, not saying that it will. And, you know, in my perspective, I just see it as, you know, can women do it? Of course. Will women do it? Less likely.
Okay. All right. No worries. Thank you for sharing that.
Welcome to the hill. Welcome to the hill, Prime. Welcome to the hill.
Welcome to the hill. We're going to be welcome to the hill. All right. No worries. Let me read some comments real quick. And definitely, I know a lot of you guys want to add on. And I have a lot of the ladies are coming hot. They're coming hot on this live chat. They're hot. All right, let me read some comments real quick. All right, I see Amanda Thompson. Good to see you, Amanda Thompson, on the live chat. She said on the live chat, I'm financially stable and my man doesn't bring in equal or significant money, but has drive, passion, ambition, and brings value to the relationship. His income doesn't matter. All right, no worries, Amanda. My response to you, Amanda, is ambition, drive, and passion. What does that lead to? What's the result? This question I'm going to ask you real quick. Think about that. What does that lead to from a man? Let me pass it to you, Sherry Mokofisi. She said, share responsibilities. Share responsibilities. All right, no worries, Sherry. Thank you so much. All right, I see Salate. Hey, good to see you, Salate. She responded to my question. She said, I will. If he decides not to work, no, I'll stop loving him. All right. Good to see you, Salate and Naki. I hope you keep working. Hope you keep working, Naki. Stay strong, brother. Stay strong.
Hey, Naki, if you need a job, I'm hiring.
Stay strong.
Naki, if I were you, I'm running. I would run away from Joe.
And Naki, you can join us on the hill. Naki, you can join us on the hill. All right, no worries. Let me read. And of course, I see KT said, I need a man who works and or earn lots of money. Hey, there's nothing wrong with that. I don't have a problem with women saying that they want money. It makes logical sense that if you're going to have children as a woman, it is your best interest to align yourself with a strong man that can provide and protect you and give a good life for your children. Why? Every mom should want that. All right. So I don't have a problem with women saying that. I think a lot of women are afraid to say that they want a man with money because they don't want to be seen as a gold digger. I see Natalia Duncan said, "Damn, no hope for modern women." LOL. All right. No worries on Natalia Duncan.
Clear your shit up.
And thank you. I see Tanchi 310 here on the live chat for the first time. Shout out to you, man. Laughing at this live chat that we're just going on. And I see Naki
awesome.
on the podcast. Naki came out. Shout out to the pod. Much respect. All right. Shout out to you, Naki. Man, stay strong, brother. Anyways, let me pass it to you guys. I got some bots on my live stream. All right, let me pass it back. Oh, I know Balafessa wanted to add on, and then Nesi want to add on, and anybody want to add on. Let's open up the conversation real quick. Go ahead, Balafessa. What's your add on?
Look, we need to differentiate. In a committed relationship where two people have a healthy outlook on what love is, we endeavor to love unconditionally. We fall short in certain stages, but we endeavor to. This is what growth is in relationship. However, there is conditions to be met before the unconditional becomes a possibility. The mere fact that women will choose specific men means there's a condition in place. Likewise to us as men, we choose specific on certain conditions. It is not something to, it is not near, okay, let me go back. It is not a noble cause to claim that you love unconditionally. It is not. I think people mask a lot of the feel-good feelings that they have with, I love unconditionally, blah, blah. Great. But before you got with specific characters or man or woman, there were conditions that needed to be met in the first place. So the mere fact that conditions were met means that your love is not unconditional. Now, in a relationship, healthy one, the endeavor to love unconditionally is what improves, and it is what brings that relationship to a whole new dynamic. So, if people want to challenge that thought process, look at who you're with. If you're in a relationship, what were the conditions that was met prior to you engaging in this relationship? I guarantee you there were conditions in place.
All right, Marlo Balafessa, thank you for adding that on. I'll pass it to you, Ness. I know you got to add on. Go ahead, Ness.
Yeah, just to piggyback off of what Professor was saying, I mean, that's true, right? Like, so when I think about the word unconditional love, like because I'm a Christian, I think of it as Jesus did, right? Unconditional love, agape love, meaning that there's no wrong that this person could do to me or to anyone else. I will continue to love them regardless, right? So when I think about, can a woman love a man unconditionally? When I say no, a majority of women, when I say no, it's because men are always held to a certain standard. We can have one thing, right? Like what one thing, the things that we lack on, we can make up for other things. Versus a woman, we only at face value, we only look for loyalty and love. At face value, we only look for loyalty. I mean, we look for loyalty and good looks. But for a woman to look for a man, he's got to have a good job. He has to make 6 figures. He's got to love God. He's got to have some hood in him. He's got to be a Crip or a Blood, or you know what I mean? Like all these other things have to match up. And if you don't have any one of those things or a couple of those things, then you can get put to the wayside. And as far as what Professor was saying, as far as in a committed relationship, yeah, I agree with what he's saying. I'm just talking about like in the beginning stages or just in general.
Okay, Ness. All right, thank you for adding on, Ness. J Prime and Siaosi and T, you guys want to add on real quick? Go ahead.
Let me just give you a good example of what an unconditional love is, right? J Prime, I think you like. Who has kids here? Raise your hand if you have kids. You have kids? Yeah. You take a look at that kid, regardless of what they do and what they say. It's unconditional. That is unconditional. There's a peace of mind of who you are, and it doesn't matter what somebody else does and what that child does. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter what they done. Joe, yeah, you could have killed somebody. Your mom's still there unconditional. There's no expectation. You could be a gangster. You can go do what you need to do. The unconditional love that your parents have for you and your family has for you, it's there. That's the example. And when you take a look at your relationship, is that present for you? I have it that is what is present for me. It may not be perfect in a sense, but it's there. Because I see it in my children. I see it in my 25-year-old, my 27-year-old, my 11-year-old. I see it in my 7-month-year-old. Doesn't matter what my son has said to me in the past. My unconditional love for them is beyond and above. I have it that my wife has that for me. And like I said, it's not perfect. But it's present. I'm present to what that is. Yeah, it definitely can happen. Right? It's powerful. I mean, it's so goddamn powerful, and I hope that most people take a look at who they are and what you need to become for yourself and for yourself to become somebody that's spectacular as that. To have the ability to forgive and become the source of happiness. The kind of individual that needs to have that show up love for me, it's powerful. So it's possible, and I'm not speaking something that's out there somewhere. So it's possible, and that we got to speak into existence and have people really take a look at who the hell they are at this moment. What do they want to become down the line? And are they willing to go to work on themselves to become that, to show up to the world as that? It's unconditional love, and that we don't have a clown that stands up on the internet and tell us what is. What is? He doesn't define who we are as people. As he stands there and tell them that men and this and women are this. Bullshit. It's our own creation what that is. We're in charge of that. Just because he said it doesn't mean it's fact. We take charge of what gets to happen in our life. Back to you.
All right. Malo Siaosi. J Prime, T, you guys want to add on? Nope.
I just want to add on to that, and I understand, Siaosi, where you're coming from, but it's still conditional, and the condition is they are your children. Do you love your children the same way that you love your own, to the same degree, to the same intensity? So I think a lot of people dilute themselves in thinking that unconditional love is some noble conquest. They need to declare into the world in order to come across as human beings who fully allowed themselves to feel. I think conditions allow us to really truly look at ourselves and admit that we have some faults, that we're humans, and it is the endeavor to unconditionally love is what is more important. Not that we love unconditionally. I don't think any human possible can do such a thing. The mere fact that we have specific conditions for a lot of things, and it's not a bad thing. It shows that we're human, but it's the journey of, I need to find out and figure out whether I can love someone completely, and can I make that into a place where I pass that on to everyone in my presence.
Yeah, and I think you said that something that's pretty important. Like, it's not a feeling. It's definitely not a feeling. It's a way of being. Being unconditional is completely different than having the feeling of being conditional or unconditional. It's the way that you are and the way that you be with the people that you love, like being with your kids. There is no condition. There is no such thing as condition with your kids. Like I said, they get caught and kill somebody and now still love my kids for who they are. There is no condition. You take a look at your own kids. If your kids go out and kill somebody, you're going to love them regardless. There is no condition for me. It's unconditional. If my kids goes and steal, I'll take care of him. I'll still take care of him. He goes kill somebody, I still love him to death. You take a look at our
Can
parents.
I challenge you on that, Chelsea? What if your kid is a pedophile? Would you still love him the same, Chelsea?
Did I say unconditional? Unconditional. He has to deal with that. That's his own. He's got to deal with that by himself. Who I am as a father has nothing to do with who he is and he becomes. The love that I give to him and have him be present in life is the gift that I give to him. His choices of what he does is his, not mine. My love is unconditional.
I think when it comes to our biological kids or our family in general, I think that's warranted, right? I think it makes sense. We can all agree to that, or most of us can agree to everything that Siaosi's saying when it pertains to our kids. But when we're talking about relationships, when we're talking about can women unconditionally love a man, that's a different spectrum. That's two different subjects, right? So I fully respect and I agree with what you're saying, Siaosi. But when we're on the topic of can a woman unconditionally love a man, like Jay Prime said, like it's possible, but a majority of women don't. There's always conditions to it. There always has to be something that the man has to do in order for the woman to get a date. There can't just be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna love you no matter what you do or what you say. Like Officer said, if the kid comes into the picture and you guys are 10-day eviction notice and you guys have been having these 10-day eviction notices for 6 months, like at some point, do you think the wife is gonna stick around for it? Possibly not. Majority of the time not, because she could probably find something else. She probably found somebody else. She probably chose you over the 6 other guys that was probably sliding in her DMs type stuff. Like, so, you know what I mean? Like, women have way more options when it comes to relationship, way more options than men do. But so yeah, that's what I wanted to say.
Yeah. Now you want to take a look at your surrounding. Let's just say look at the Tongan people around you, and those men that do not have jobs. What are their wives doing when their men don't have a job? What do they do? What do women do? Take a look at your surrounding. I mean, take a look at your family. Take a look at your community. You know a few guys that are sitting there doing absolutely nothing, and they're pretty lazy. They're sitting there while the wife is doing what they're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's not get ahead of ourselves. I mean, this is, are men willing to do the same thing?
So to rebuttal that's where we have to differentiate the difference between nice guys and good guys. A good guy won't do that, right? A good guy's not going to sit on the couch while the woman goes in and breadwins. You know what I mean? Like, there's a very small percentage of stay-at-home dads, right? Like, but when you really take a look at like who would want to, but in the sense of when you're talking about like, if you don't have a job and the woman's going out there to get it, of course the woman's going to leave it. I don't blame the woman to leave the man if the man don't got a job, because that's not a manly thing to do. A masculine man, a responsible man, a good guy would go and tie his shoes, go out there, hit the streets running. As far as like getting a job, if you don't have a job, all right, cool. There's plenty of places. It's just us as men, we tend to get prideful. McDonald's is hiring. I don't know if I want to go work there type stuff. So there are certain men that do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's I don't know. I don't know if that makes sense, guys, but I just wanted to throw that in there.
Yeah, and the other thing that we have to also differentiate is it's not because she loves him unconditionally that she is willing to bear that responsibility. A vast majority of these men and women have grew up in a time where leaving the family, especially with children, was never an option. So they do it out of responsibility, not out of unconditional love. So we have to differentiate that. I know a lot of women will step up. I have a couple of guys who seek my guidance who have seen their fathers fall short in that arena. And the tension in their household is to a point where they no longer see and respect the father that they once were. And it's not because the woman is unconditionally loving the man that she's with. It's we have a responsibility to our children. Things need to be paid. Food needs to be on the table. So if you're not going to do it, I might as well put my, strap my boots up and get to it, sort of thing. So is it still unconditional love then? I don't think so.
Yeah. All right, no worries. Thank you, Professor. And just to join this on that hill, because I'm gonna die on that hill. I just throw some stats out there real quick. Ladies who are watching this right now on the podcast, these are stats you can look up online. It's out there. But a lot of women would say the love is unconditional and his finances don't matter. But if you look at the divorce rate, where 80% of women initiate the divorce, majority of the reasons why they initiate divorce is because of the man's finances. That's why they get divorced today. So if you look at it statistically, that's what the stats say. And it is a reality. Like I said, is it possible? Yeah, is it possible? But is it probable? Based on the statistics of what you see, is probably not. And also something I do want to add on, I think for me, just from a biological perspective, I think it's natural. It's normal for a woman to be attracted to a man that has the traits that he can provide or protect and give resources. That's what women look into men. The same thing, I think Ness brought it up, that we are attracted to different things. For men, we don't look for a woman to provide or protect. We're not attracted to that. Biologically, we're attracted to a woman that's beautiful, feminine, good body, attractive, and can have children. So we look for different things. I think we live in a society today because women want to be equal as men, so they want to have the same attractions as men, because we don't care about a woman's ambitions, right? We don't care. And a lot of women are trying to be equal like us, and I think a lot of times we shame men and women from our needs. Like if a woman says, I want a man with success and money, for me, it's just it's common sense. If you as a woman want to have children and you're going to step away from the workforce because you have to take some time off to be able to have children, and of course, once you have kids, you still have to take more time off to raise the children at a very in infancy, it is a good strategy to be with a man that has some kind of level of finances to protect you during that time of pregnancy and raising kids. If you're with a man that has no job and can't provide, it makes your life as a woman very difficult, right? So it is no, for me, when women say I want a man that makes money, for me that's normal. I don't have a problem with it. The same thing with men. If men say like I want a woman that's attractive, have a good body, that's very feminine, a lot of women will have a problem with that. But that's like the same thing. Like I don't have a problem when men say they want a very younger, attractive, more hotter, tighter woman. That's just men what we look for. But I think we live in a society today that women are so afraid of saying they want a man with money, but they'll say it, but they have a very indirect way of saying, I don't want a man with money, but I want a man that's ambitious, that's driven, and works hard, and is very passionate. What are those qualities? What's the final destination? Like I said, those qualities lead to the final destination of a man that has money. So it's just an indirect way of saying, I want a man with money, because you don't want to be shamed, you don't want to be seen as a gold digger. But if you look at the biological difference in our normal human attraction, it's normal. Women have always seek men with resources since the beginning of time. And men have always seek beautiful, younger, attractive women since the beginning of time. It is normal, ladies. So all the ladies out there in the live chat, it's okay. If you want a man with money, it makes sense. It gives you a better life. It gives your kids a better life. It gives you better opportunities. But I think it's just the society we live today. People are so afraid of just talking about their normal biological preferences. So I just want to throw it out there. Like, it's okay, ladies. If you want a man with money, it's normal. It's common sense. And men who shame women that want money is usually with men who are insecure with their ability to provide. Because if you as a man can provide, you don't care if a woman makes money. But usually guys who don't have the ability to provide and they lack in that area and they're insecure about their ability, you would shame a woman that wants more money because you can't make money. You don't have a job. You don't have no ambition. So you feel insecure when women say, I want successful men. Because when women say, I want successful men, that doesn't bother me because I have those qualities. That's who I am. It is what it is. So, go ahead, pass it back to you guys.
I think that's interesting because you're touching on something that's becoming normal. You're talking about younger women that are seeking a lot older men.
Yeah.
Right? And you're going to have to ask yourself, why is it that women in their late 20s, early 30s are looking at people that are 40 and 50? When you take a look, they have their shit together. Sometimes it's financial, and sometimes it's more up here. There's a lot more peace of mind. Right? So what you're dealing with is beyond finance. It could be beyond finance, right? And it could be finance.
Yeah.
So, and I think that's the thing to take a look at. Have the men now that are 25 up to the 30 to 35 ask themselves, why is it that our generation is looking for the older generation? And that could be what it is that for them is, they have their shit together. They've done the work and they don't have to worry, and neither do the young ones have to worry about anything else. As long as they bring themselves and the love that they need to bring, the insecurity is already gone. Because you're probably right in that conversation. Women are definitely looking up for some men that are taking care of things. It's interesting.
All right, no worries, Siaosi. Yep. Let me read some comments real quick. You guys are going hard on the comments, man. Thank you so much, Eric. Let's go hard on the comments. Keep that comment going, you guys. Keep it popping on the live chat. I see 007 on the live chat said, feeling like I'm in church right now, getting grilled by the OG pastor. All right, no worries. Thank you so much.
Now. I'm gonna trim my beard.
All right. We got the Fatigal here tonight. No worries. I see Kay said, interesting view, Siaosi. All right, no worries, KTS. Always a pleasure. Thank you for sharing what you have to say. I see Naki on the live chat. He said, a pity, not my son anymore.
All right, Ness, I want to know what that means.
Talk about a pedophile. Pity means a pedophile.
I got that.
So that's what pity means. All right, no worries. And of course, I see Williami Tonu. Williami Tonu on the live chat said, women want to be equal with men until the man is punched the woman. All right, no worries. Okay, all right. So a lot of providing protected right there. And as you see, 007 on the live chat. Which one?
The last one that you put up and you didn't read it.
Okay, it's Z007. It said, it's biological for a woman to desire a sense of security, whether it is financial, emotional, or physical security needs. That's what Z007 said.
On point. I think that on point. Who does it? What woman wouldn't want that kind of security? What woman wouldn't want that? What woman wouldn't want that kind of a lifestyle?
And I see, finally a woman agrees with me. I'm excited right now. Sherry said, great, Will, great answer. Oh, thank you. I haven't had that comment in a long time, so I really appreciate those moments when women agree with me. All right. Nevertheless, appreciate you guys on the line. And I see Natalia Duncan said Maslow's hierarchy, LOL. All right, no worries. Thank you so much for you ladies. Appreciate you guys. And I have one more question I want to ask you guys real quick, just to end off the podcast. I think Paulo Fessa, you mentioned it before. I think a lot of guys. I think sometimes that this topic can become very extreme. I know a lot of young men. They see the type of content on social media. They see very successful men, and all they think that money. I think we've had this conversation that money is important. It is a priority, but that's not the whole recipe. But the question I wanted to ask you guys, I wanted to bring up is for the men out there who do have money, but they struggle with relationship, because I want to hear the different perspective. Like, we know that women want money, but then there's also the reality. There's a lot of guys that do have money, and sometimes we live in a social media age where guys just see, oh, this guy has money, he has women. Oh, then all I need is money. But there's a lot of men out there that do have the money, but they still struggle in the relationships or maintaining or keeping a woman. So my question, fellas, in your perspective, if a man has money, right, and he still struggles to maintain, attract, keep relationships, what's your perspective? Like, why does that happen, right? Just for the young men out there to hear the other side to it. It's not like, sometimes men just think, oh, I get money, everything's good. But there is more to it than just money. So I'll start with you, Paulo Fessa, and we finish up, and we'll conclude the podcast with that. Why do men who have all the money that women want, but they still can't maintain, keep, and attract women? What's your thoughts on that, Paulo Fessa?
Yeah, it's this is an interesting one because it's, and again, I see all these type of characters who have all the accolades, they have all the money, and yet still struggle with women. And a big part of that conversation that I typically have is that oftentimes these men sacrifice a very value that has attained them the level of success that they have when they become attracted to a woman. They become the docile, passive type of man, no longer the one who has some level of authority, who has a direction in their life. The reason why they've attained money is for a certain purpose in whatever that may be in their goals. And it's almost as if they defeat the purpose of why they earned in the first place. What was what was the reason of earning so much? Financial freedom, the ability to move the way that you can and allow yourself to do so. And I think this is where a lot of men don't necessarily have a lot of conversation with women in the sense of befriend some women, speak to them, and not befriend in the sense of trying to sleep with them. If you find yourself not knowing where you stand in terms of where your attraction is with women, get it from the horse's mouth, pun intended, right? Is that have these conversations, but also find men who not so much have some level of success as, you know, sleeping with multiple women all at the same time, but a man who has a healthy level of outlook on women in general, who can provide some guidance. But yeah, look, money don't make the man. It really doesn't. It's the value that has attained the certain lifestyle that you live. And funnily enough, money has become a byproduct of that. So, look, you can have all the money in the world, but if you don't know how to treat a woman, a good woman, I don't think you deserve her in the first place.
Yeah. You still attract them. You still attract them, and they'll take your money, but you won't keep them. This is the reality. But thank you, Balofessa. Let me pass it to you, Ness, for conclusion of the podcast. What's your thoughts? You know, a lot of guys, young men, think that all they gotta do is get money and get women. That's it. But why do you think a lot of guys, they do get the money, but they still struggle with ladies attracting and maintaining and keeping that relationship? Go ahead, Ness.
Yeah, I think Balofessa is right. Money doesn't make the man makes the money, right? The money is the value to which why men are held at such high standards. When money comes into play for a man, anything can happen, right? So when we're talking about men that can't sustain a relationship or can't attract women, that's his fault. That's 100% his fault why he can't do that. Whether if it's he doesn't understand social cues, he's socially incapable of talking to a woman, but it happens, right? Nowadays, like, men are terrified to approach women because the last thing that they don't want to hear is like, "Oh, ew, no, next," you know, like, nice try," without even them knowing that he has money. Oh boy has to show up in a Lambo and a BMW. Oh boy has to show up in a $100,000 necklace for women to be like, "Oh, okay, let me go check oh boy out," type stuff. And that's what I think the problem is with a majority of men that have money that don't know how to talk to women. They show up to the clubs, they show up to the bars like that. They show up in public with all these expensive things, expecting the women to come and talk to them. But when they do talk to them, the guy's sounding like a freaking third grader. You know, like, don't even know how to say his name properly type stuff. So it's 100% the man's fault.
All right, no worries, Ness. Thank you for sharing that. Pass it to you, T. What do you think, T? You know, why do you think guys that do have money, but they struggle to attract, maintain, and keep a relationship with women? What are your thoughts, T?
Because you're weird. Just don't be weird. A lot of the friends, a lot of friends that I talk to, and a lot of my group of friends, the one thing that they saw, and this is because of the history of my dad. My dad was a teacher in the biblical sense for the Bible. So there's always that comfort of just talking to people. Not necessarily you have to stand in front of people and talk all the time. Just go have a regular conversation with people, right? Just get used to, like what Ness was said. It helps you understand social cues, body language. Because even when I first got here, how people act over here, it's kind of like their own version of catcalling that we do at the island. Like, psst, what you doing? Right? It's just weird. So for people that have a lot of money, and I've come across some of these people. They just get out of character for no reason. Like you have all the accolades, but then you have to be a little bit so extra, right? And if you are listening and you have a lot of money, I don't have much to say. Just don't be weird. Have regular conversations with people. Go up and talk to people. Even if it's a woman, go up and talk to them without any intentions of anything other than just having a regular conversation. It's easier for you to find out. And if you're trying to find a good woman, like our topic tonight, it's much easier for you to weed out whether she's wanting you for your money or it's somebody that you need. Right? So I think the whole thing of being out of character, even though you have the accolades, but then you have to fake who you are as a person, just don't be weird. It's just have a normal conversation with people. And a lot of people be surprised. It's not easier said than done. It is easy if you have no intentions other than trying to just get familiar with people in public. That's it.
All right, no worries. All right, thank you, T, man. Hey, don't be weird. All the weirdos out there, stop working. Put in that work, fellas. Put in that work. I'll pass it to you, J Prime. J Prime, what's your thoughts, man? A lot of guys do have a lot of money. I know you're in the tech industry, so a lot of techie guys that got a lot of money, but they
watch yourself, son. You be careful what you say now.
They struggle with the relationships, man. What do you think about that, J Prime?
I mean, T said it best. I work in the tech industry, so I work with a lot of weirdos, and the thing that we have to take into consideration is that a lot of the men that actually struggle with dealing with women that do have money are men that have kept their head down. You know, they don't understand the interaction level of what, you know, the dynamic between men and women on an attraction level actually is versus, you know, just working hand in hand with women. And so, I mean, go out, have some fun, get into some trouble. I mean, don't get arrested. Just socialize, get used to the social cues. If we're trying to give words of endearment for men that do have money and that still struggle with women, being around women. And I mean, other than that, if you don't know what to do, I mean, just stick around and just watch the podcast. Listen to Siaosi, listen to Paul Fessa, listen to everybody on the panel. I mean, that's the best way to go about it as of right now, because there's not a lot of men out there that are really truly advocating on this side of things, where they're just advocating so that way they can sell a course, where we're trying to advocate so that way we can bridge that gap of communication and understanding and know where a pathway may lie. And so with that being said, yeah, I just don't be weird. I mean, that's a really good way of putting it. I mean, there's no other way that you can really put it. If you're a fucking weirdo, I mean, go be a fucking weirdo a little bit more so that way you're no longer a weirdo.
All right, no worries. J Prime, I think of it. Don't be weird, fellas. Siaosi, what's your thoughts on the men out there? They got the money, mate. They got the money. They got the status, but not the women. What are your thoughts, Siaosi?
Yeah, well, first of all, congratulations to every single person that's doing what they're doing, right? And you might want to take a look that a job and money is a relationship. What you invest in is what you get, and the amount of time that you put in making the money is 100% what is. Women has become second, third, and fourth. And the same thing, if a man is investing on a woman and in a time making sure that something works, like money may not be there, right? So you have to take a look at what is. You got to take a look at what in the balance of things. And you can't blame a guy that's going out there and trying to make his $1 million. What for? His relationship is with his finance, not his family, nor anything else. But then you take a look at, there's a lot of millionaires out there and billionaires that actually have a relationship, right? So we can't knock people for what they're actually doing good at. So and what I'm also saying is that it's finding the real balance in what money gives them and what money has done for them, and how many people they have helped along the way, with somebody that's just doing the very minimum in terms of having a relationship that works and they stick with what is. So really, it's truly a relationship that is built over time, and you take it for what it is. And I just want to, money is not the evil. Money is not evil at all. When you're a good guy and you have money, you just remain a good guy. When you're a gangster and a gangster has the money, you still remain the gangster that you are. It's not the money. It's what you do and who you are that allows you to enhance who you are. So if you're a good man and you have some money in your pocket, you just enhance who the hell you are. You get to give more. You get to support more. You get to help your family more, right? And if you're a gangster, you do what you gangsters do, whatever that is. So money is not evil, as they say. The person is evil.
Yeah, money hides the flaws of men, right? Of those types of men that don't know how to talk to women. Money just covers that up, covers the fact that I don't know how to talk to a woman. Z007 had a great point, and it proves my point. You got to have some game, and you have to have other things, right? Just because I got money, that is a good thing, but I also have to obtain certain other skills in order for me to attract those type of women. For us as guys to attract, for us as guys, for us to be attracted to women, you just got to look good. Off strip, like you just have to look good. But for women to like men, you have to have 5, 6, 7 other attributes, including money. If you have money but you don't have any game, all right, they might pass on you. If you have game but you don't got money, she still might pass on you.
Yeah, is that really happening in your surrounding? Is that what's really happening in your surrounding? Are we just kind of talking out of air? Is that what
that's in general
see in your community?
Yeah, that I'm speaking in general. When it comes to from my perspective of it, when it comes to women seeking men and men seeking women, in order for a woman to take a man seriously, he can't just have one thing. He has to have many different things. But off face value, for a man to be attracted to a woman, she just has to look good and be loyal. Everything else comes later. Everything else is a bonus.
Yeah,
that's the way I look at it. For a woman, she just has to look good and be loyal, or just look good in general. Oh, she could work at McDonald's. She could work at a Subway, and if she looks good, I'll talk to her. Type stuff. You know what I mean? But for a woman, the guy has to have certain amount of attributes that she can actually take a look into. If you have 2 out of the 5, she might pass on you. But if you have all 5, she's all for it. But those are the conditions that we're talking about when we're talking about unconditional love, right? A woman will only love a man under the condition that he provides, like Chris Rock said, and that's absolutely true.
Maybe.
To an extent.
Right? And I'm talking about, I'm being real in when I have conversations with you guys, I speak of what's going on in my life and in my experience of life. My experience of life is not what you describe. Absolutely no. And that's why I ask is, are you taking a look, are you having a conversation about the people that you surround yourself with? That's not what's happening in my surrounding. Even with people that are 25 up to 30 to 40. That's not what's happening in my area. So you got to take a look. Where the hell are you that's happening? And how bad is your surrounding that you have to speak that crap out here? You understand that? Like how horrible do you have to be to say that kind of thing and it exists in your being? If you're the master of your flock, how is it that you're not contributing to having that be different? Because what you say is who you are, and you're the one that's making everything around you. You are part of the circumstance. You are the creator of your circumstance. And why is that not changing? So this is the part where I talk about we all have to be responsible for what we say, because what we say is you're not speaking for yourself. You're speaking about who your father, who your mother is, who every single person in your life is. This is the life that they live in. And if that's present for you, then this is where the leadership comes up and you go, what do I need to do to make sure that doesn't happen in my area, in my community? because my community is bigger and better than who I am. Who the hell do I need to be to make my community not be that? And that's why I say don't generalize your conversation. Don't bring in the BS that you see on TikTok and everything else and have that your community. Like, let's be real about the conversation, because we know our people are better than that. My people is better than that. My Southern community, my Tongan, my Polynesian community are better than that. And I speak highly of who they are. And when they're not being at their highest, I speak life into what they're doing. I don't bring in every Tom and Dick and Harry's conversation into my community's forum. This is a forum here. I speak what's happening in my community. And I hope that's not what's happening in your community. Because if it is happening in your community, we are all screwed.
All right, no worries.
I'm sorry.
My little OG pastor. Thank you.
OG pastor. How do I go from legend to OG pastor? That son of a gun.
All right, no worries. For me, I have two things I just want to share just to conclude, and then we can share our final thoughts to conclude this podcast. One thing I would say, I know a lot of you guys said weirdos and things. I think for me, it just comes down to like if men will make a lot of money and they find it really, really hard to attract women. I think they're not working themselves to improve as a man to be attractive. So money is one factor, but there's a lot of things that goes into it to be very attractive for women. When it comes to confidence, communication, talking to women, your physical aspect, your physical health. It's really, really important to look strong, for your woman. So there's a lot of things. I think a lot of times men who are very hyper successful, they kind of put all their focus and efforts into one aspect, which is their career, but they don't really look at the other things like your health, emotional, physical, mental, confidence, your verbal skills, communication, body language, confidence, those things. And I think it just comes to improvement. So the dating world for men is very competitive. It is very competitive. Most women are selecting the top tier men, and all of us as young men, we see this in a very young age. We see the type of men that a lot of girls are pursuing, especially in high school, middle school, high school. We see the type of guys that get all the attraction. So we know there's a hierarchy. So it's a matter of competition. You have to compete. And a lot of guys, if they have bad experiences with women, or they never had no experience with women, a lot of self-doubt and fear that they don't want to compete, and they don't want to compete. But that's the reality. You have to compete. And if you have to work on yourself to improve to get to that point. And the second thing is, I think the reason why a lot of guys today who are very successful don't attract a lot of women, I think we live in an age today, we have so much opportunity, and making money is so easy today. It's where a lot of guys don't go through the process to build themselves up to become a man. Because traditionally back in the day, if you wanted to be very successful, earn a lot of money traditionally back in the day, there's a lot of years you had to work. You had to find a job, get promoted, put in a lot of years. So through that process, you grew as a man. You worked on yourself, and those things that you went through, those hardships, obstacles you went through, the challenges, you went through your self-development to improve, and became a better man. And then you became to be very attracted to a lot of women. But we live in an age today we have different opportunities where guys can make money overnight. A perfect example was, I have a couple of friends right now. When crypto was still high before the crash, I had a couple of friends that made hundreds of thousands of dollars overnight because of crypto. So they went from had a minimum wage income to making $100,000, $300,000, $500,000. I had one friend, I think he made over $1 million, and through cryptocurrency. So they skipped the process. So they made the money really, really, really fast. And especially social media content creators. I see a lot of content creators, especially young content creators on YouTube. They make that YouTube money and earn a lot of money really, really fast, but they never went through the process of the things, the hardships that test you and challenge you as a man to improve. So I think that's one of the things of why we see a lot of young people today make a lot of money, because it's easier. It's a good thing. The opportunities are better to make money easier. But I think the process is needed for men to become a boy to a man. And I think because of the opportunities today we see today, a lot of men skip that. So they never went through the rejection. They never went through the hardships. They challenge you to look deep in yourself. You know what? I'm going to work on myself. but if they gain that success overnight or really quickly, so that's why they don't really they find it hard for them to kind of like attract women. But yeah, that's my final thoughts on that.
I'm going to push back on that one, right? What I'm hearing is like what I'm hearing is what I'm hearing. I'm hearing that like you have complaints about people that made it actually made it, as if what they've done isn't enough. Hold on. Because what you said is that they didn't go through the process. Their process is their process. And I have it that you're shaming them for making it quick. They gone through the process. It took a little bit shorter than most. They're a lot smarter than the majority of us. And you have to take a look at it in that sense, because it's a short process for them because they knew exactly when to do it. And they could have waited for some time. But what I'm hearing is that your disconnection with the process that allows somebody to take a look and actually take action, and they win. They get to win like this as fast as they can. That's their process. And the moment you say that they never went through the process, it's like, where does that come from? Where does that come from?
Their lack to attract good women. I think that's where Will is trying to add on, is that the process is different, but the point of content, or what the objective here is that, yes, you have made money in a very short duration of time. However, there are men out there who are fucking dorks, essentially, who cannot have good relationship with women in general. And it's not, look, and I will sit here and go, dude, you're beating me at finance. Great. You've got an extra 0 to your name on top of mine. Right? Yeah. But it's so we're talking about relationship, a meaningful relationship with good women.
Yeah.
A lot of these men don't have that. And it's almost to the point where they think the money is going to give them the good woman that deserves the life that she needs to be catered to. But it's not happening. So we're trying to highlight it's not happening because there are certain processes that you have to go through. Part of earning money is to build that.
Yeah. And I think this is the part of we sitting here judging people for where they're at in their life. And we have no idea. Whether somebody made it the money easily, right? We're sitting assuming that individual doesn't have it. And this is the problem that I have with us generalizing a conversation and not bringing people into your life that's actually having that, that's actually going through it. Because we can't constantly generalize our conversation, because we're diminishing ourselves, and we're also diminishing people that are listening. And they're listening to us is like, shit, they don't have no idea. They're throwing a bunch of shit out there. Like, why? We're assuming that people that actually make money have no relationship. There's tons of people that I know. Majority of people I work with are well off. 95% of people that I work with are well off. They have beautiful relationship. Yeah, they're working 16 hours a day, and they have beautiful relationship.
You just defined it, Siaosi.
Yeah.
We're not drawing generalizations. We are using information from people that we know. So you've just explained it. 16 hours days, stable relationship, well off. A vast majority of the people that I'm guessing Will knows who earn their money a quick turnaround. I know a certain caliber of men also in the crypto space who've earned it, but they're terrible with relationship. They're just absolutely terrible. They don't know how to have conversations. They don't know how to treat a woman. Not even they could not stand in front of a man who has put his elbow grease to the test and is able to stand there and go, I have earned my money because I have put in the sweat, tears, and blood that I required in order to attain that. Your money may be higher, but do you know how to attract good relationship? Do you know how to maintain that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go. Well, I pushed back.
No worries. Yeah. Good. I love the pushback. No, yeah. The one quality my friends that earned a lot of money off the crypto, the one thing that they struggle with is confidence talking to women. They struggle with confidence talking to women, and like it's a thing like confidence comes from action, actually going out there and participating. And as a man, like if you build yourself from the ground up and put in the years, you have to talk to people. You have to develop some kind of confidence to talk to people, get the promotion, get the money that you deserve and you want to earn, that comes from like communicating. And a lot of guys are just behind the screen, like a computer. We talked about this process, living on the internet. They just clicked on the button and made a good bet. Like I said, I'm not taking away their decision making. They made a good decision to invest into crypto when they made a lot of money, but that doesn't translate over to our relationships, and that's what they struggle at. But anyways, nevertheless, thank you so much, guys. Whether we agree or disagree, I appreciate you guys, and I appreciate everybody in the live chat. You guys have been having your own conversations, dialogue in the live chat. I appreciate you guys being active. But we have come to the end of the podcast. Thank you so much, fellas, and thank you so much, everybody in the live chat. Shout out to you guys. Let's share our final thoughts real quick, and then we'll conclude off with that. And I'll start with you. T, thank you for jumping on as a public guest. Hopefully you can jump on the future podcast. What's your final thoughts, T, and how can people find
you? First of all, thank you to everybody in this very random panel of very smart men. And our host, Will, thank you guys for having me. I know you guys have no idea who I am, but this is where we have these spaces and we open up these spaces to come and have these type of conversations and share our thoughts. I think as far as tonight's topic, there's always a flip side to whether it's a point that Siaosi brought or J Prime or Ness or Balofessa. You know, there's always this semantics or a caveat to those points. But I think everybody tries their best to strive to be the best, right? And in order for you to be the best, you have to get familiar with at least the pathway to get to wherever you want to get to. I don't have anything else to add because these men are much smarter than I am, and their points and their point of views that they've given, I think it has said enough. But for all the women, try not to love us under conditions, please. Straight up.
All right, T. All right, no worries. Thank you for sharing. I appreciate you, T. And let me pass it to you, Ness. Ness, thank you for jumping on, being on the mastermind for the first time. Final thoughts, and how can people find you?
Yeah, my final thoughts is, my brother Bill's on the chat, and he said exactly what I was thinking. Character is the only thing that you're going to take to the grave. So us as men, we have to make sure that our character is in tune with the type of women that we want to affiliate ourselves with, regardless of status, regardless if we got all the money in the world or anything else like that. We have to make sure that we're in tune with life, with our expectations, all that type of stuff. Because if us as men, if we can't be men, whatever your definition of men is, and we're gonna lose out on a lot of opportunities to these wonderful women, because there's a lot of wonderful, beautiful women out there. There's a legitimate good number of good women out there. How we get there, that's the journey, right? So once again, just like how we did in the beginning of the podcast, if the destination is to find a good woman, we have to do our due diligence, and we have to figure out within ourselves, how can I get myself to intervene and get together with that sort of type of good woman that'll make our lives whole. And again, to make sure that when we reproduce, that our last name and our legacy continues on for the rest of our lives. You guys can find me on all social medias, platforms. Like I said before, I have a podcast that's coming out in 2023 for the culture. We're going to be tackling a lot about foster care, group homes, at-risk teens, specifically within the Polynesian community, because it is a huge growing industry within our people. So if you guys are in that type of work, I will be reaching out to you guys and just talk about the struggles and the wins and the losses that we have working in this type of industry. So God bless, Will. Thank you again, always, for reaching out and being a part of this panel. All you gentlemen that are on right now, man, I've learned a lot about you guys. I've learned a lot about myself, and I've learned a lot about women. So it's always a good conversation to have.
All right, Ness, always a pleasure, man. Thank you for jumping on a mastermind. Definitely enjoyed you and adding on to this podcast. J Prime, final thoughts, and how can people find you?
Sorry. Final thoughts. Not really much to say. I mean, panel said it best. Just wanted to thank everybody for participating in the comment section, and also thank you, Will, for another opportunity of being a part of the Masculine Mind. For those that are trying to reach out to me, you guys can reach out to me in the Discord. Other than that, you can reach out to me anywhere on social media. I don't really have content out just yet, but coming soon. Other than that, thank you, Will, once again, and thank you for giving me the opportunity. And also thanks. I tip my hat to all the men here on the panel. Yep.
All right, no worries, J Prime. Thank you so much for being on. Pass it to you, Paulo Fesso. Final thoughts and how can people find you, Paulo Fesso?
Yeah, my final thoughts, and people might disagree with me, and I think a lot of people will. A good man should develop a God complex, and I think a good woman deserves a man who thinks so. That is deeply rooted in your ability to think through life and work through life with your own two hands. I think every man should endeavor to be in that place. Not rooted in fantasy that you can just wishful think things into reality, but in your ability to think through hardship and your ability to work through them. One of the things that I find with my wife is that she loves me because I have the ability to destroy her in the most beautiful way. That the mere absence of my presence hurts her deeply. And I think every man should endeavor to love their woman in that sense. To complete them in a way where it is beautiful to miss and to hurt and to have those pain. So, look, if you're willing to challenge me, jump in the Discord. But also at the same time, I think many men have gone down the pathway of being passive, that they no longer give the women in their lives the presence of a man that will hold the fort and will bear the responsibility and the hardship of life. I think every good woman deserves a man like that. So if you don't have a God complex, I don't think you have a position to challenge, I think, even the men in this panel, but you're welcome to. Again, to the men of the Masculine Mind, always appreciate your thoughts and your opinions. It always gives me I guess the ability to go and reflect and see where it is that I need to refine my own worldview and how to look at the world. Well, again, always a privilege. Thank you for having me. And to everyone in the chat, thank you for entertaining our podcast. Whatever thoughts, whatever opinions, whatever things that we have discussed tonight, it is always great to see you guys participate and to have your own views being displayed in the chat. So, well, again, thank you.
All right, no worries. Thank you so much. Yeah, it just gave me more confidence in my God complex. Paulo Fesso Malo. Think I'll pass it to you, Siaosi.
This is the shit that I hate about Professor. How do you live a life like that? I just, it's so, so badass in the sense that you can just be that and say what you need to say, right?
It's the accent.
It is the accent. Yeah, I think it is because
it's the fact that he doesn't live in America.
Whatever that is, it's working for him, right? Final thought here is people go out and experience life. The hell with what we say. What we say makes no difference. Go out and take on your life and experience life for yourself. And then have a conversation about your experience. Like, enjoy it. Enjoy the journey. There's no place to get other than being in the moment where you're at. And in a moment-to-moment conversation with yourself and those that you love that allows you to look at life differently. Don't give a damn about JP, what he says, about what Ness says, what Professor says, or what T says. Know what I say, know what Will says. You go out and you experience life for yourself and live to have a beautiful conversation with the one that you love in the next generation so they may take on what you learned. I love you all. And to all of you guys, man, what an awesome conversation today. Thank you for just being here and being with the conversation. And does a man need money to attract a good woman? Just be a good guy, be a good woman, and you'll find each other. I love you all. Bye-bye.
Yeah. Malo Siaosi, possibly find each other. Let me read some comments real quick. Marlena on the live chat. Thank you, Will, and everyone else. It was a great combo tonight. Hey, Marlena, thank you so much. Appreciate you guys on the support. I see Salot in the live chat. Said Malo, Will, well done panel. Y'all were fired. Man, thank you so much, man. Always appreciate you, Salot, being on the live chat. I see William Tonu on the live chat. I think he's talking to you, Ness. Hey, don't be stealing my final thoughts. All right, hey, jump on, man. If you wanna jump on and share those final thoughts, jump on the next pod. And I see Z007 sitting on the live chat. He said, I tried to jump on the pod, but this link did not work with multiple attempts. Next time, sorry, Z007, I got to call cap on that.
The lie detector determined that was a lie.
All right, hey, it's the same link that T clicked on, and T's on the podcast. It's the same link.
Stop the cap.
Same link.
Stop the cap, bro.
Stop the cap, man. Stop the cap. It's the same link that T used. All right, but hey, you said next time I'll hold you to it. You definitely better be on the podcast. And of course, I see BL17. He said, thank you to all. I appreciate you, BL17, being on the live podcast. Don't forget, we do have the Discord group chat. We continue the conversations offline. So if you guys want to be part of the Discord, if you love the podcast, the conversation we're having, and if you want to have direct conversation with us one-on-one, click on that Discord. I pinned it to the top. I pinned it to the YouTube live chat on the screen. Click on that link and join us on the Discord. If you love the conversation, you support the podcast, I definitely appreciate you guys if you join our Gabba Podcast Discord link and be part of the Gabba Pods community. All right. Nevertheless, don't forget to like and subscribe. And of course, I have the links for all these gentlemen below if you want to follow and support them as well. And subscribe to the podcast so you get notification when we do go live on the live chat. I see you, Naki, in the live chat. Hey, Naki said, Naki said, stop the cap. Yeah, Naki, tell him, Naki, stop the cap. be on the podcast. You got to hold you accountable. But nevertheless, I appreciate you guys. I'll see you guys next time. Peace, y'all. Next time on the Masculine Mind. Have a good night, fellas, men and women, ladies. Have a good night.
Ofado.